TD Jakes look like he's some kind of innocent bystander in the whole Diddy mess.
You can't
But
be a
nobody say,
bystander at an orgy, dear. You can't.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
And what about what he did to my cousin? Put it out that my cousin's a satyr and tried to destroy Christopher Hill. I mean, and, almost put people in the gut and put out that he's on drugs in Atlanta and shit. You know,
Can you tell us how that whole thing came about? Because see, he's done that to more than one
I
minister. There's
know
another
that's
minister in the Dallas area that he did it to, Ricky Rush. He put fake child charges on him. They actually paid someone at Dallas County Jail to come forward and say Ricky Rush did this to him to try to shut down his school. It was terrible.
yeah.
It was
So,
terrible.
as I said, take dicks, Jakes. I don't give a damn. And frankly, you know, the church that his daughter got was the church my cousin got removed from. He built it up, made it big. Then you had to your daughter. But what kind of man ordains his daughter on all fours like she's about to take it up the ass at a gangbang?
Well, the same kind of man who overlooks the fact that his daughter was getting passed around in the Potter's house in Dallas, which is how she ended up pregnant at 15 years old.
Didn't she get pregnant before she was 15?
She, from what I heard, but I
Yeah.
do remember the one that, when she was 15, that was a little bit more, but everyone in that church, they were doing what they wanted with her, and no
Hmm.
one thought anything of it. And I was just like, this is kind of odd. And the only reason that I know this is because I had musicians who were working with me that after they started attacking me and threatening booking agents about hiring me and giving me shows and allowing me on tours, you know, a lot of my musicians, they went to go play for the churches and stuff like that. Two of my musicians ended up going to play for the Potter's House, was there for a while. It was so interesting. You would think that going from secular music into, going into the gospel realm, that they would be a little bit better.
No, no,
They were
no.
making like $5,000 a week. They were paying them all of this money.
Mm-mm.
People don't realize they were making it would Potter's House band was getting paid a lot of money.
No,
A
like I
lot of money.
said, my dad was a gospel musician. My mother's a retired gospel songbird. Donnie McClurkin is a distant cousin of mine. I'm sorry if he's done anything. Don't be mad. I didn't do it. I ain't did it, Jag. I just learned, and she says, "Damn." And the family's kinky. Marvin Gaye's a cousin, and I'm hearing about him messing with the underage girl and all. And I'm like, oh man. Okay, my dad used to know. My grandparents were friends to Marvin's crazy ass cross dressing dad. Gospel's weird. I've been to
The
one.
gospel world is very weird.
I went to one gospel concert to see the Hawkins singers.
Mm.
I know you remember the Stars of Faith. What's her name?
My mother and her sisters were groupies for that gospel group, the Mighty Clouds of Joy.
Okay. Hmm.
I always thought that was strange. Gospel groupies. I always thought it was strange, but apparently it's a thing.
There's one called Maddie Clark and the Stars of Faith. I know you've heard of
Hmm.
them.
Of
Okay.
course, I know Dr. Maddie Clark.
Oh no, not Maddie Moss Clark.
Oh,
Um,
there's another Maddie
this
Clark.
is it's no, it's Maddie something else. They're out of
Okay.
D.C. Maddie Moss is out of Michigan. I'm.
Right.
This is an allegation. I was talking to this one Kojic minister who's out of Columbus, Ohio,
Hmm.
and he's in the Church of God in Christ. And back when COVID first was hitting, because people in Kojic dogged my dad. I mean, I think my parents never recovered from what they did to them. Okay, I remember praying to God in 2020 for God to deal with the people, the leadership of Kojic that dogged my father and other people. And I found in a drawer here in the basement, it's full of my dad's stuff, a something he must have paid maybe $50 for. It was like a replica of a shovel. I know you've heard of All Saints University, this church at College, University, Seminary. The Church of God in Christ was supposed to build, and they've been collecting money since the 1920s for a university. I don't even think it has a hole in the ground. And my dad,
Really?
huh?
Really?
It's supposed to be across the street from Mason's Temple. It's not there. They've been collecting
Wow.
money for like 100 years for something. I don't even think they have a brick. And I found this thing in the drawer of my dad's things, and I just says, God, you got to get those niggas. I mean, they fucked up my dad and mom. They caused my mother to lose a lot of things, the equivalent of a $2 million property. All of this stuff behind what they did, it messed my dad's health up, messed my mother's health up. Their asses ended up with cancer and all this stuff. And I just says, God, how do these people just get to hurt, lie, misrepresent? Even when my dad was dealing with them, they had a dude, a male prostitute from the church that was supposed to get my dad in a compromised position so they could blackmail him. I don't know what that was about. My dad told me about walking the room and there was a nigga with the towel over his dick. Okay? I've never said this to anyone. I was told this in 86. So I've been holding on this for 39 years of how I feel about some of this stuff. So when you hear me, I'm angry like you. And how much of this do I have to take before I can denounce it? Anyway, back to my story. I told him, I think his name is Reverend Coates in Ohio. I think in Columbus, Ohio. I told him, don't go to the Kansas City meeting for Kojic. Don't go. Go if you want to, but God's going to kill 13 bishops in your church. I asked him to kill the nigga up in Michigan, the one that kicked his pregnant mistress down a flight of steps, killing her and the baby. Didn't do a minute in jail. Come on, a so-called man of God, kicks a pregnant woman down the flight of stairs. And he's the number 2 man in supposedly a holiness church.
Well,
His name is Brooks. I asked God specifically, I know you got to strike that nigga in Michigan. Now you let them take my father. You let them do all this stuff. And I told Coates he's gonna get the bishop in Virginia. I don't even know him. He's gonna get the one in Mississippi. You're gonna see all these ministers in your church are gonna die in rapid succession. You're gonna see it. They're gonna hit a whole bunch of your bishops. Y'all are gonna take a hit, and I know. So you can go ahead and blow me off. I'm nobody. But watch the bishops die. You take your ass there. You want to show me that you don't have to listen to me? Fine. I'm just in the basement. You got a big ass church with the pipe organ and maybe getting piped by the organ. Go take your ass out to Kansas City. And you heard about all the bishops dying right after the Kansas City thing? And I have witnesses. He called and he thanked me for warning him. But we had another conversation, and I was saying to him, I didn't like the way Maddie Moss Clark had been treated by the leadership of the Church of God in Christ. Because the Clark sisters, they brought more money into the church and they were morbidly obese. They used, and Maddie, those girls were like, shit, you could do Mandingo. They'd be the ones that were in the field that you never got a close-up on. They worked the hell out of the Clark sisters, and they took money in, and they dogged them. And I was saying how Maddie Moss Clark had been dogged, even though she looked like a praying mantis, she still should have been treated with respect. And that dude, when I would talk about Maddie Moss Clark, I could feel anger and tension. I was telling the story when Maddie Moss was supposed to come here to D.C. to help my dad. I remember hearing the call. She was told my dad was in Kojic, and so she had to go against her own promise to help my dad because the people in the church would come after her if she did something. And then she began to talk about how the church would have them go on the bus certain places and then not pay for them. And they'd have to pay out of their own pockets to get people home
Yeah.
and feed them. And yet these people took in hordes of money.
Yeah.
Gospel. And I thought that would get him. And eventually he says, how do you feel about Maddie Moss Clark? This is what I already told you. She looked like a praying mantis with the wig on, but she had good music. And it wasn't good enough for him. I could feel he was getting angry with me. Just, what are you mad at me for? I mean, she's an older sister. She paid her dues. She's deceased. Grew up listening to her music. And it says, for all the sensitivity, you don't get Maddie Moss Clark. It says I never met Maddie Moss Clark. I've only heard her voice. I've only seen, unattractive pictures of Maddie Moss Clark. I don't know. And it says, well, let
And
me
they
help
didn't
you.
like for her to be. They didn't like for her to be exalted in any way.
Right.
She was more talented than most of the men in the church. She could outwrite them. She could outdo everything.
I'll outdo
And
all of it. All of
and
it.
anytime they made sure that she was held in the most unflattering light possible. And a lot of people don't talk about the fact that the husband that she was married to, Reverend Clark, he used to beat her.
Hmm.
And he was beating her.
Mm-hmm. Well, get ready for what I'm going to say to you. I'm not saying this is true, but it was reported to me by this minister in Ohio that his first marriage failed, and he would always have problems when he would go to UNAC and go to whatever that thing. When Koji comes to town, they drink all the liquor. In fact, I mean, all the prostitutes and shit, and all the trainees, they all need IVs way before Diddy's ass got started because they wear out. DC ran out of liquor when they had UNAC at DC. I mean, in fact, they didn't want to
See, that's
come.
the funny thing. Nobody ever wants to talk about that. And just to intersect, when I first started saying to everyone, people keep talking about Diddy this and Diddy that, Diddy this and Diddy that. This stuff has been going on long
Forever.
before him.
Forever.
Long before him. I had said to people, even Dapper Dan, he made it very clear when they first came after, they came up to him asking him questions. They caught him in Harlem one day. And it was right after Diddy got arrested. And they said, what do you think about Diddy? He was like, I know Puffy. He was like, I know his parents. He said, this stuff has been going on long before him. And nobody wants to deal with
Mm-hmm.
that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to deal with the fact that all of this stuff that we're talking about is learned
It's
behavior.
learned
It was
behavior.
passed on.
It's learned behavior. I mean, Aretha Franklin's family was doing this kind of stuff. I mean, this stuff is old. But let me say this is the bomb. This guy would say every time they'd go to a major event, he said he would have problems with his wife. And his wife would be cold and, just be doing something, trying to figure out why can't I connect to you? And eventually his wife said, Maddie Moss Clark molested her. I don't know. I'm not saying that's true because that goes against everything I could conceive, Jag.
Yeah, me too.
Everything. I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying that's what was said to me. And he says my first marriage failed, and she would just cry and she'd be depressed, and whenever they came to town with this stuff, it would change the character of the woman. And he said he divorced her. He couldn't even really stay in the ministry with her because of this. I'm
And
not saying
he
it's
said,
true.
no, no, but I'm just saying, but he said that Maddie Moss did this to his wife. And this is the thing that bothers me more than anything. If that were true, then why didn't you do something? Why didn't somebody do something about it?
Exactly.
If that
You know
were true.
why?
And they like telling, see, and that's the thing. For me, how it lands with me is that somebody wanted to make sure that her character was destroyed. Because the truth is that should have came up.
It
As
should it
many
should
children
come up.
as many children as she worked with, as many choirs as
I
she did,
I
there
I'm
should have
I'm
been a
in
lot more
I'm in
stories.
full agreement, which is why I said it's alleged, and
Yeah.
I'm like, but and it seemed as if they were. See, you couldn't have done that. I think you heard the stories telling you when James Brown was beating his wife.
Hmm.
And I just says, y'all gonna fire me. This shit's gonna stop. I don't care. I can't sit up in here and I have people, and I've had someone, and he held up the phone, and you could hear James Brown screaming and beating his wife through the walls. I can't handle that. And I can't say, oh, this isn't happening. I don't know. Well, I need to see it. Remember, I was telling you about that? And I love James Brown. Used to be able to do the splits and all that kind of shit. And I just, I couldn't listen to James Brown for years after that. But I told the little Puerto Rican clout chaser who thought he was white, if you don't take your ass up there and stop him from beating his wife, I'm calling Metropolitan. My dad's a chaplain. I have the whole fucking vice squad in here. So either you stop him or I stop him. And I got a brand new bag for your ass if you don't move. And they went up there and they shut it down. And at least for 3 days, Mrs. Brown didn't get her ass kicked. Courtesy of Dr. Randy Short. I don't like this shit. I can't deal with it.
You know the thing that bothers me more than anything? How many people sit around and praise these men who abuse and abuse and abuse, and they go after people. Oh, you're trying to take a good black man down. Oh, you doing this. Oh, you doing that. If you say anything, you know, recently, the whole. This is another thing I wanted to ask you. What do you think about the Smokey Robinson allegations? Because now there's another woman that's come forward.
I was thinking about, I'm not saying these things are true, but I think they should take it to court if there's any veracity to it, prosecute it. But the joke that came to me is it has a whole nother meaning to you really got a hold on me. You really got a hold on you, really. I don't want you, and all I want you to do is not hold, squeeze,
No, it's
hold
kind
me.
of crazy because there's a lot of these songs out here. When you hear some of the stuff that goes on in the backdrop, it makes you look at those lyrics real different. But my thing is everyone is sitting here so quick to say, "Oh, Smokey Robinson couldn't have." "Oh, Smokey Robinson would never." How do you know?
Okay,
How do
but
you
let
know?
me
But you know
share
what I
with
mean?
you.
Like
But
people are always
but
jumping
let me
to
give you an
defend people that
example.
they don't know.
But let me give you an example of pimping
Yeah.
of Smokey. And I don't hate Smokey Robinson, and my auntie's Kim Weston, and this is the thing about black folks, why we need to know about our families and all that. I got family with the last name Wright, but they're in Mississippi. They could be yours. We need to be careful how we do stuff because we're all so connected. That's another reason that we keep our mouths shut, because I'm connected. I don't want to have any issues in my network because our networks are corrupt. But I want to say this to you. The Marvelettes, the Vandellas,
Yeah.
Smokey Robinson allowed, what's the guy's name? Slutsky, if I'm correct, little Jewish people, to create these oldies package circles where people that weren't even original Marvelettes would compete with the original group, and the artists starved because they made some kind of deal. Smokey made that deal. That
I'm not
destroyed,
surprised.
that hurt the Marvelettes, that hurt those sisters in that group. I, I have love for Smokey Robinson. You didn't hear me trashing
He
him,
was,
but that,
listen to me, he was Motown. See,
right.
this is the thing. He was Motown.
Mm-hmm.
And people can say whatever they want to say. But you got to look at the pedigree of where someone came from and where they came up under. Now, they were all young. They all came up together. Him, Diana Ross, whatever the case may be. The people like sitting here and they like glorifying these people. But to see the kind of stuff that Barry Gordy was doing, to see the kind of games that he was playing, the way they were playing with people's lives, all of that stuff was going on, and you stood by. I mean, I don't know. For me, I feel like Smokey Robinson is the usher to,
Okay.
Barry Gordy's Mickey. You know
Granted,
what I mean? Like
granted,
it's
I'm not. I'm not.
because there was a lot of abuse that happened
Florence
around
Ballard
they
shouldn't.
watched women.
Florence shouldn't have died at 32. Paul Williams
Mhm.
should have gotten better health care. He shouldn't have been pushed to the point
Tammy
of
Terrell
Tammy
should have lived
Terrell.
a much longer life than
Yeah,
she
there are a
did.
range of people. I'm in full agreement with you. What's his name? Benny Benjamin.
The way they gaslit the rest of the Supremes, on behalf of, it's so funny. People aren't really paying attention to the fact that everything in Beyonce's career was literally shadowed around the way they built Diana Ross. That's why they gave her Dreamgirls,
Yes.
the imitation of it all.
Yes.
Um, I auditioned for Dreamgirls. Lettucey auditioned for Dreamgirls. And Bill Condon wanted to hire the both of us. They hired Jennifer Hudson because they thought that she wasn't talented enough to outshadow Beyonce. That's the only reason she got that Oscar. Um, I was born to play a part like Effie. So was Lettucey. Which is why, for me, it was so disgusting when Lettucey finally got, um, her shot
And
with the Selma
Sparkle.
movie. Selma.
Yeah.
Selma. And she was supposed to have been performing at the Grammys.
Mm.
And she was going to do, you know, I guess it was Precious Lord. And instead, just, just to try to drive her over the edge, they pulled her at the very last second and let Beyonce do it. It was terrible. And I'll never forget. I called Letty and I was like, I don't know how you did it, because if it was me, I wouldn't have been sitting in that green room crying. I would have went right up there across that stage and I would have drug her by a lace front.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can't believe that they sat by and did that. And then that's when I realized that, the Rock Nation uh, regime or whatever had completely taken over the Grammys.
Mm.
Completely taken over
And
the
that's
Grammys.
why she gets so many Grammys. Look, and the person Jennifer Holliday that played Effie.
Effie and
Okay.
original.
Yeah. You're
But you
gonna
talking about you talking about the original one, or you talking
love
about Jennifer Hudson,
me.
the remake?
Yeah. Why couldn't they use her? I mean, and she'd lost weight by then.
Jennifer Holliday.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they weren't interested in using anyone from the original franchise because they were busy trying to build their new little puppets. And I don't think people really understand. It's not about who's the most talented. It's about who's the most cooperative.
And who's the most manipulated and who can do what? And it's the
Exactly.
same way Diana Ross wasn't better than Tammy Terrell. She
She
wasn't.
wasn't better than anybody that was in her group. That's why they all
She's
they don't
better
even
than
they
Mary. I love Mary. Diana had a better voice than Mary, but she
look, but
wasn't. She wasn't better than Kim Weston.
no,
She wasn't better than. There was another woman. I know you've seen the Elvis Presley movie.
Diana was willing to do things that the other girls weren't willing to
But yeah,
do.
but
She was willing to
because
get
Diana,
naked on camera. She was willing to hang out at the parties.
right?
A lot of people keep forgetting exactly how much grooming she did at Motown. A lot of people keep forgetting how much grooming she did with Michael Jackson. A lot of people keep forgetting all of the time that she spent with Andy Warhol and bringing children to him.
Hmm.
A lot of people forget about a lot of things when it comes to her. And it's wild because I saw, she's out performing again and she's, singing and she's wearing her big gowns and her big hair and everyone's talking about how amazing she is. And I'm just like, you people really don't know the harm that she's done. She's done a lot of harm, but don't nobody want to deal with that. No, they just want to worship and they want to praise and they want to worship and they want to praise. So meanwhile, when you got people like Diddy, and you got people like the Beyoncés, and you got people like the Mary J. Bliges and all of this, they're looking at all of the stuff that all of these people did before them. They're following the blueprint. And now they're trying to train new artists to do the same thing, and it's weird. Like, I
Hmm.
don't understand how throughout this whole Diddy trial, how people are not looking at Usher differently. And what is that?
What?
Wolfgang, set in the West. Can you tell us what that is? I'm trying to read it. I can't see it.
Hmm.
Diana was the first Maxwell Gasling.
Ghislaine. Oh, the first Ghislaine Maxwell.
Right.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Well, I'll
I
say
couldn't
this
agree
for
with you.
Diana.
I'm sorry, I couldn't even see. I'm sitting there taking care of some stuff in the background.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Well,
Is that a message?
No, she was writing it as we were having this conversation.
Well, okay.
Got it.
Well, the thing is that Diana had more skin in the game than the other Supremes because she had messed with one of the Holland brothers. She had messed with Smokey. Claudette had to say, "Get your hands off my man." She had messed with Barry Gordy, and you know, but people figured she had something. And what I will say in this is that, and unfortunately, I'm a big Supremes fool, but I like all of the people in the group, not just one.
Yeah.
Um, the price of fame, when you hear Michael Jackson say, "The price of fame is so high, it's so high, it's so
Yeah.
high, I miss my childhood, the price of fame, the price of fame." And people would say, and he'd be screaming the price of fame as a refrain, that it takes people's souls.
Yeah.
And the same thing in gospel, all certain people had was their ability to create, and they get exploited and then they throw them away. But we just to talk about gospel. I want to segue back to your
Yeah.
thoughts on Trump and the demo holes. Come,
I mean,
come Swalla and Orca and Demonse. I mean,
I think it is an interesting pivot. I do. And the truth is I really don't know what to say about what's going on. Like, I'm trying my best because, see, this is how I feel. And a lot of people were confused about some of the comments that I had to make regarding um, the Demonic National Convention
mm-hmm.
and the Trump administration. And so this is how I look at it. You know the Bible, I know the Bible. You know prophecy, I know prophecy. And when it comes to prophecy, God is going to use whoever he has to use to do his job.
That's correct.
That's it. Just like God chose David, he chose Goliath for that moment. Just like God chose, Nebuchadnezzar, he chose, you know what I mean? For that moment. He picks the bad guy that he wants and he picks the good guy that he wants. And I don't think anybody really paid attention to me saying maybe Trump is just the bad guy that we need at this time. Because the truth is, it doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. It's all crap.
Right.
It's all crap. Like,
It's
this is the thing that people really are having a hard time dealing with. The entire government is infected with godlessness and all kinds of stuff.
right.
You've got bad on both sides of the aisle.
Right.
Neither side can really be trusted. So the only thing that you can do is look to the side that is leaning towards prophecy.
Mm.
That's it.
That's it.
Prophecy has to be fulfilled.
Right. And it's
Good
gonna be
and
fulfilled.
bad.
And that's how it goes. Uh I'm looking at that, and also Ophaga.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, my Lord. Someone
You want to know
asked
the thing?
hmm?
Can I say something? Because when it comes to this subject, I gotta let you go, but I gotta slide this in. This man has been pushing all kinds of gay agenda from the very, very, very top of the top. And
Mhm.
I'm sitting there looking at our people, and our people are not paying attention. And this is weird because I understand the LGBTQ. I'm a bisexual woman, but I also believe in living the principle, God's principle. I cannot live God's principle with a woman. I can only live God's principle with a man because he meant for there to be this, that, and the third, or whatever. And that's not to say that anybody's right or anyone's wrong. It's not about right and wrong. But when people start pushing agendas, you have to ask yourself why they're pushing that agenda, why they're going through all of this. You know, why are they doing this? Why is everything that they're doing lightweight, low-key, anti-family, anti-black love? Like there's no propagation for the greatness of what we are as a community, as a people. Everything has been divisive, low-key, tearing everything apart. And now all of a sudden, every black boy needs, or everybody needs a gay mentor to help them in ways that they're straight. This person can't, and not every person, like, when I'm sitting there listening, and meanwhile, he's doing this on his wife's podcast, right? His wife, you know, because I call them Barry and Mickey. It's Barry and Mickey, his wife, you know, and she's sitting there, like, parroting, going along, like, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you know, you're in a relationship, you love someone, you care someone, yeah, you guys are able to finish each other's sentences, but these are sentences you shouldn't just be able to just finish with this guy. He's sitting up there, you know, because not every father can do it, and I'm like, she's just going along with this stuff, and yeah, because, you know, he was the best mentor I had. She's like, yeah, like,
Mhm. But I was just looking at Michelle's brother, and he looks like an alcoholic Regina King. And I was just saying, you know, dude, you look more womanly in the face than Michelle.
I know,
I mean, if he
I
put a
know,
weave on, people would have thought Michelle had been eating a whole bunch of fried chicken.
exactly.
So I'm wondering if they decided they picked the wrong one to make the boy and the wrong one to make the girl.
I don't know which one it was. I don't know what
I mean,
happened.
I don't know. I mean, I call her Manshell and Ophaga. And I keep saying to people, the first time I ever heard Obama's voice, I knew he was gay. I remember where I was the first time I heard it. I remember being enraged at the sound of his voice and literally running towards where the voice was coming from to have an argument with him.
I remember his second inauguration. I was there for it. I was there for the first and the second, but the second one was quite different. All of those after parties, heavy trans, heavy gay, everywhere. I was at Park, and Park wasn't considered a gay establishment. This was after, you know, the cloud, and then it became love and whatever. That one went full scale gay party, out of control. But I was noticing they were sliding it in, and Jamie Foxx was there that night. You know, that's the other thing that I'm really disappointed about. That nobody's really pulling Jamie Foxx's card right now.
You mean
I'm
Jamie?
really upset.
You mean Jamie fucks? But
I mean, I don't understand that. Yeah, the
you
dream, yeah. But
ha,
I don't understand that.
have you
I
heard
don't
this?
understand because everybody knows that in
Everybody.
order to make it to the big Diddy party, you had to get auditioned at the Jamie Foxx party first.
Mhm.
That's why I can't take him seriously. Oh man, Puff, you was a
But
legend.
but 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 but
You was
look.
like
Have you heard the story
That's why
about?
he got busted his head like he did on his birthday over there at Mr. Child's in Hollywood, because that was probably the warning to let him know, you say anything.
You
Go
heard the story.
hang and fry.
I know you've heard the story that they had a party and Jamie was there. And towards a certain point, he walked in and said, "All the ugly people get out of the room." You've heard that expression, all the ugly people have to leave. Only pretty people could be here because we go fuck and we only want to fuck good looking people.
You want to know what's interesting? That wasn't the only thing that used to happen at his parties. They used to have what they called the witching hour, and at midnight, they would have people in there, and then at midnight, everyone would have to disrobe, and you would have to see who was the woman and who was the man because they had so many transgenders up in there trapping straight men. And then boom, next thing you know, you've been letting this man give you head all night, so you might as well go along with it. Like, they've been doing this stuff for years, and everyone knows it. And I think that's been the most hardest part for me during this trial, knowing how they were going to play it, knowing how they were going to sham it, knowing how they were going to protect everyone, because that's what this was all about. Everybody keep quiet. Everybody just be quiet. Puff is going to deal with this. Jay-Z's going to, he's going to come through with the enforcers, and they're going to make sure that all of this stuff, and as long as he goes down by himself, that we're safe. We're safe. And that's what it was. I saw that from the very beginning. I told everybody that's exactly what was going to happen, and that's exactly what happened. And now here we are, and now everyone, he's getting himself together, and he's doing this. Someone said something about how do I feel about Alicia Keys. I've been saying it for years. Everyone knows that girl is gay. Everyone also, see, the thing is nobody wants to talk about her sexuality because they don't want to have to expose her husband's sexuality, and he is gay as well. See, everyone doesn't have a problem with Alicia Keys being gay or being bisexual. What they don't want to accept, the fact is that Swiss Beats is also gay and fruity as hell.
Okay, so you mean Swiss meats?
Yeah.
I okay. Well, see,
No, but this is what they do. They take these two people, they put them together, and then have them pretend to be straight. They get to make a couple of babies, and then everyone believes. Meanwhile, they're doing everything that they're doing, and they're passing the agenda, and they have all of this stuff that they can hold over their heads, so they can get them to do terrible things to this person, to that person. Like, this is blackmail culture beyond belief.
okay, you didn't hear my show last night. I sent it to Odell, and the show was "Are You a Sexual Sharecropper?"
Ah.
Yeah, I gotta forward it over to her. Yeah.
And there's a person that sang hi to you, Jag. Their name is Thomas Dotson Jr.
Yes, I know who Thomas
And
Dotson
he's
is.
saying that he
Thomas
loves
Dotson is
you.
around quite often.
He says he loves you, and let's establish this so people will always understand. Because when you and I speak offline,
Yeah.
who is Randy Short? If you love me, I love you. Period.
You
And
know why I love you?
oh, you love me. Oh my God, this is cool. All right,
No, I do.
thank
The
you.
reason why I love you is because there are so many people, my elders, that know I'm telling the truth, that know I've been speaking up, that know I've been saying
Every
what it is
time
for
you
quite
open
some
your
time.
mouth, I know it's the truth. Someone could come in here with the gun and tell me to dinner, sis, you got to kill me. I agree with her. Anyone that knows me has heard about it. She's right. And I'm prepared to lose a whole bunch of friends and associations. My auntie in Cleveland looked you up because I was talking about you, and then she wrote me to tell me, I don't think you should be dealing with her and this and that. And I said to her, I'm willing to give up Jag if you'll quit being a Delta Sigma Theta. Because I know she ain't going to give up being a Delta Sigma Theta for all the little stuff that those hoes do. They just were down here in D.C., probably bought out all the sex toy stores. And in fact, cucumbers price went up 20 cents when these hoes were here. I'm not lying. And this shit's $1. It was just 69 cents last week. I'm just telling y'all.
That's the
Okay.
funny thing. A lot of the sorority stuff, and on that, like see, you bring up sororities. Angie Stone, she got into the sorority. Next thing you know, they got her doing a concert there, and then boom, she's gone. While she's busy trying to fight to get her royalties back, and she finally had proof of who had been stealing from her and what she wanted done and what she was going to do. And then she decided she was going to come out and she was going to start exposing Clive Davis and all of this stuff. And look at it. They had a bunch of YouTubers online sitting there making,
Yeah.
acting like they're trying to get justice and trying to get justice. Now they're about to do the same thing with Malcolm Jamal Warner. It's really disgusting. It's like these people don't want to accept the fact that these sororities, these fraternities, they are all satanic cults.
Full of
They
shit.
are
All of them.
satanic cults. And we take our kids and we send them to college, and then we let them go through the hazing and the hell week and all of this and all of that. And when you really look at it, you got to ask yourself, what kind of parent is encouraging their kid to go and allow themselves to be taken advantage of, to be belittled, to be disgraced,
Hello?
to be humiliated,
Hello?
to get
Yeah,
drunk
I'm doing a
beyond belief.
broadcast with. Excuse me,
Okay.
Jag.
All right.
My mother keeps calling me. It's disturbing my broadcast. Are you good? They kept calling me. Damn. Be sick by yourself. I'll see you when we done.
You send my best to your mother.
Okay, well, no, well, why don't you give? She wants to hear from you. You need to talk to her anyway. Um,
Okay.
uh, so let me see. Be back to my live now. Okay. So no, she just kept calling. She's trying to figure out what's going on. This is Sunday, and they can't
Yes.
wear their big ass hats and shit because they don't feel well. So they got to have something to do, and we don't eat fried chicken anymore. Uh, but no, 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 sister. This is something I decided to do. What's pivotal to me is watching a pimp pusher beat the hell out of a black woman in public on 5th and 8th Streets Northeast in 1969, and people walk by, and
Like nothing happened.
and 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 I couldn't talk then. I couldn't even scream, and I just wanted to kill that man as a kid, and all I could do is watch him beat her, and she was pregnant, and nobody helped her. I think about it and it just enrages me. I didn't see that. I'm 4. I can't talk. I, why won't somebody help her? And I learned a lot of people have selective blindness.
And selective outrage.
Yeah, I don't like folk beating on people. I don't like it. You can't make me like it. You know, I I'm not happy about it. It will eat me if I don't do something about it. Do you get where I'm coming from? It doesn't have to be me. It just has to happen, and I hate it. And this is something that is lacking among black people. We are selective in terms of what we get outraged about, selective of what we're willing to see, instead of us wanting it for everybody,
Yeah.
right? When I say to you, I had family and cousins and people molested. My dad molested, his sister molested, his brother molested. Then the nigga that molested my uncle and my father, nigga's a preacher up in Newark. Thank God he's dead. Nigga came for me.
Listen to me. I told you about my step grandfather, and I
Yeah.
really can't even call him my step grandfather because him and my grandmother weren't legally married. They were shacked up. She was still legally married to my grandfather. But this is the same man that murdered her. Murdered her in front of her children after years of systematic abuse. He molested everyone. He raped everyone in the house, girls and boys alike. He would rape her as punishment in front of the kids just to show people that he could beat on her. They would go out in public. He would beat on her just to show people he had control. He was drunk most of the time, and for a long time, I listened to my mother, create this, circumstance. Like my grandmother was, the biggest victim in the world, and it was so terrible. But at the same time, she never tried to get away. And the few times that she did get away, she went back.
Mm.
She went back when she knew what was happening to her kids. She went back. That there was a whole situation where
Sounds
my
like
grandfather
sounds like
saw
the
them.
DeBarge family, and that's why I
Exactly.
said, I can't stand the mother of them. You can't
You
make
you
me. I
No,
I
but you heard that Chico was just recently arrested. He was just recently arrested, like less than 2 weeks ago.
no.
He was on a bicycle in the park somewhere. They caught him with drugs on him. He was trying to sell drugs, and that trips me out because
Sorry.
I used to date Chico when I was a girl. When I was younger, I used to date him after he had gotten out of jail. When right around the time when
Mm.
you remember when he released the album after he got out of jail, Long Time No See. I mean, he was like the last hope for the DeBarge family
Mm.
because all of them, and once again, a lot of people keep forgetting Motown Records
No, look,
destroyed that
they
family.
they were the
Suzanne
fresh.
passed. They let her turn all of them out on drugs. They let her pimp all of them out. She encouraged them to pimp Bunny out. Like, and Ethelene, she didn't do nothing. She just sat there.
And
She let it all happen.
Bunny could halfway sing, and there was always something about them that seemed hurting
Oh yeah,
from the very get-go, and they
they were taken
never.
advantage of. They were supposed to be the new Jackson 5. They were going to ride them to glory. They were there to take over, the void from the Jacksons and Michael going solo. And, a lot of people keep forgetting how all of this stuff, which is part of the reason why Barry Gordy, well, not Barry Gordy, but Barry Gordy kind of lightweight tapped Quincy Jones on the shoulder to handle up on Michael Jackson as much as possible, which is why they got mad when Clarence Avant came in and created grace for him and created a space for him because they were really trying to screw him over on Thriller because they never wanted him to go solo as soon as he went solo. They wanted to keep making money off the Jackson machine. In comes the DeBarge machine that was supposed to be making that up, and so they decided we're going to turn all of them out. We're going to get all of them addicted. We're going to make sure we keep, so this way we don't lose control of this family the way we lost control of the Jacksons.
Wow.
That was the whole thing. And look at what happened. Chico is now in his 50s, getting arrested for drug possession. Like, and that's what Motown did to
Hmm.
families. That's what Motown did. I mean, it's, but I don't think they knew anything other than abuse. I don't think they knew any other way than
It's not, and
abuse.
that's terrible. Thomas Dodson Jr. was
Hmm.
talking about Bishop Sheard, who's head of the Church of God in Christ.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you? I don't know what's going on with them. Everybody was saying this is going to be a change from Bishop Blake. Anyway,
I have no idea.
I,
I
I,
know
I,
that.
I, d- I- it's Sunday, and you don't see my ass in church. And I got tambourines and shit. I'm in my dad's library. It's full of Bibles and all of that. You don't need to put up with that bullshit to be connected to God. I am not
No,
opposed to people gathering. I like religious architecture. I like good music. I like good people, but often that's not what you find there. And I've
no.
heard, you hear people say, the Lord wants me to stay here, and the pastor grabbed my titty last week, and I had to rebuke that demon, and I had to watch my kids. I can't do all that fucking drama if you claim to be people of God.
Understand this. There are so many young black people where their first survivor story is being assaulted in their church.
Of course. Um,
And the thing is this is what I don't like about it. This is a place where you're told you can trust what's virtually a stranger to you. You bring your family there, you bring your children there, something goes wrong, whether it's the pastor or the choir director or the head of the deacon board or whatever the case may be, your child is affected. Something
Mm-hmm.
goes on. The child comes, speaks up, tells the truth,
Mm-hmm.
which is the right thing to do.
And they
And
get
then
punished.
everyone, they get punished for telling the
Mm-hmm.
truth. And then everyone in the church turns against them, makes it, they're a liar, they're a
Yeah,
liar,
and
they
you know
mean
what? The
nothing,
devil
there's
is
something wrong.
using you. You've got a spiritual problem. I don't like your
Oh, yeah,
spirit.
yeah,
Bullshit. No.
yeah, yeah. The devil is using you because you're telling the truth. And people keep forgetting, it's not about, see, first things first, God already said, that's the reason why Yeshua was sacrificed, so that we could go to God directly
Mm.
through him. You don't need to turn to another human being
Mm-mm.
to go to God.
Mm-mm.
You don't.
And
Now, fellowship and coming together where two or more are gathered, he is in the midst.
right.
That is a beautiful thing.
But it didn't say you needed 2 or 3 thousand with strobe lights and smoke machines and
Nope, not at all.
jumbotrons and fake ass
And guess
preachers.
what? And if you get messed over, if you get screwed over, then in the name of Jesus, just let it go and
Oh,
pretend
so
and
but
let everybody
well,
keep having a
how
good
you
time.
gonna hold your pussy up to God when it's been busted by the mega pastor? Anyway,
It's just it's insane.
in fact,
It's
I was gonna
absolutely
ask you,
insane.
Jamal Bryant. You see how they're trying to
Mm.
make him the new Al Sharpton? You
Number
know,
one, I'm over him. I'm over him. He is a clout chasing social media pundit. Nothing more, nothing less. And not only that, he's a gay man. And I don't care what nobody got to say. It makes sense when you look at his relationship with Giselle and then the Real Housewives stuff and all of that stuff going on. Like her father kept saying when she tried to get back with him for ratings for television and he was trying to use it to build up his social media queue so he could get his podcast. Like all of this was an arrangement. And her dad kept saying, he done had another baby on you. You got you out here looking crazy. This is not a good look for you. I don't know why you're doing this to
a
yourself.
woman got a
Her
right.
own
A
father
woman
had
got a
him
right
out of
to
that.
do what she want with her body. Woman got a right to do what she want with her body.
No, but this is the thing. I don't understand why people can't see that when these men, these effeminate men, are running around making all of these babies with all of these women and doing all of this stuff with all of these women. People, they really don't get it. This is what they do to try to prove to people that they're straight. So people will stop asking if they're gay. This is what they do. Look at Shannon Sharp. I don't care what nobody say. Did he get busted up by this little girl? All of that's fine. But he's never been married. He's never been in a real long-term relationship. He got, 2, 3 kids. They were all born around the same time. All of these different women.
Look,
You got this Tyrone, what's his name? The Diggs, the Stefan Diggs boy, doing the exact same thing, sitting there in this clout chasing relationship or whatever it's supposed to be with Cardi B. Now they sitting there, they looking at this Clay boy with the Mega Man, the Mega Man, the male horse, and they running around, and it's just like, how don't y'all see? And all of this is to cover up homosexuality. How don't y'all see this? All of these men are gay. I don't care what anybody's saying.
yep.
Because anytime a man with that much money is being that reckless with his penis to try to prove his machismo, it's because he's trying to convince people he's something that he's not. I know for a fact I can speak on this because my first husband, totally the whole situation. Totally the whole situation. And when I busted him with men, that's when he started becoming violent and wanting to put his hands on me.
Hmm.
Then, if I fight you back, I'm a crazy black woman taking advantage of you, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. If I stop fighting you back, then I deserve to get beat up because I was disrespectful.
Mm.
Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Oh, and then all of the men, all of the sodomite men come to gather around and help you find lawyers to come down on me. Like, there's absolutely no way in the world my first ex-husband and Tariq Trotter from the Roots, both men that I had intimate relationships with, should be getting together together to talk about how to get rid of me so that Jay-Z will reward them for getting rid of a big problem. This is an issue. This is an issue that we have in our society. Like, we have to stop trying to convince ourselves that a gay man is a straight man when he's not. And more importantly than that, if it's all legal now and nobody's going to the insane asylum.
Hold on, I gotta correct somebody.
Oh my God.
Hold 1 second.
What?
Sis, I can't do the tech stuff on someone else's Zoom. And you don't wait for someone to be an hour and 20 minutes into something to ask them to do something. Please, come on.
Dr. Short, tell them to log in.
Yeah, they're going to have to log in. I can't,
We're going to open it up for questioning soon.
yeah, I can't do it for you. Don't ask me. You got the link, use it. I'm not the technical person. Okay, I'm sorry, I just have to correct that. Please don't ask me about that.
That's fine.
That's like asking me to put the doo-doo back in my behind after shit's fall out, okay? Or putting toothpaste back in the tube. It's out. Now, no, we do have
This
this.
is why I love Dr. Short, because Dr. Short is, he keeps it all the way a buck. And it's funny because he reminds me of me is with so many different levels. But this is the thing. When you have people that are as intelligent as you and as intelligent as me, and we get to the point that this is where we are with it, it's because that's how ridiculous things have gotten.
Yeah, it's too stupid for me to play along with it. If it were all right, don't you hate the way people act like you aren't patient, Jag? Like you just came and you just wanted to tear up everybody's career because you weren't selling billions of records. You decided to be the angry black bitch goddess because you didn't get topped off the way you wanted, and now you're doing this because it's all sour grapes.
No.
And I never got that from you, saying this person's telling shit. Someone's gonna kill her. The shit she's saying. Says this is shit I tell people get mad at and want to yell at me. I told them And by the way, I gotta say this, Jamal Bryant, I agree with you. He had on one of these sweaters that looked like they were it looked like it was covered in Fruit Loops. Have you seen those sweater? I'm thinking, dude, you got more cover.
Like he went and stole wardrobe from the Cookie Monster.
Or actually, he stole it from Phyllis Diller. I mean, he had some shit on like that, and I'm thinking, see, I think I told you.
No, he just literally sat on his podcast with that other closeted homosexual, Cam Newton. And I'm going to call him out for what he is. Because Cam is in the closet. I don't care what anybody say. He's a little too bitchy for me. And see, and it's funny because people look at these football players, they look at these athletes like, oh, they're so masculine, oh, they're so manly, oh, they're so this, and oh, they're so that, and whoopty-whoopty-whoop, because they played a sport, because they played a game.
That's what I was...
They're not realizing that's what the Romans used to do.
But that's a game. That's a game. That's a game.
They would sit there and they would sweat and they would give all of this stuff and then they would give it all to each other.
But it's before the Romans, the Greeks. But let me just stop you.
Yeah.
I said this last night, this morning. I was mad. Arthur Ashe is my cousin. People are quick to make Arthur Ashe gay because he plays tennis. Magic Johnson could be messing with Jermaine Stewart, but because he plays basketball, he's no matter what. Look at his son. Nothing can. Even Dwayne Wade. Folks don't want to let Dwayne Wade be who the hell he is. But yet you're gonna make Arthur because he played tennis. See, black folks don't even have.
And then they coupled it with his demise because of the way he passed away.
No. But wait a minute.
And that had nothing to do with it.
They poisoned my cousin.
I know that.
I got poisoned. I got some. I looked. I must have gotten some sex worker's blood. They had to clean. I mean, all this stuff, hepatitis. I've never had any. It was the blood they give it you in the hospital, and they give the worst blood.
They weren't even paying attention to the fact that they've been doing this to black people for a long time.
For a long time. I tell everybody the story.
Transmuted to see musicians,
when when
all of that
when
stuff.
Arthur got the word that he had AIDS, he told his father, his best friend, and his mother, and his father had a heart attack and nearly almost died right in front of him, and that destroyed Arthur. And he figured if me saying that could kill my dad, all these people that look up to me, let me just keep my mouth shut so I can spare people. I mean, it's happening to me, but just people hearing it happen to me could destroy them. And the whiteys couldn't get him. Okay, the small hats and other people that
Wanna know
couldn't get
what's
him
funny?
to do stuff.
Nobody's paying attention to the fact that all of that stuff is tied to the Red Cross and the blood banking.
And it's also
And
tied
now,
to Jesse. Jesse Jackson is one of the most evil black men that's ever lived. Wherever Jesse shows up, important black people get either marginalized or destroyed. The only one that he couldn't take down was Barack because they no longer needed him. Ofaga was the replacement for Jesse. They used Jesse to get King. They used Jesse to get Whitney Young. They used Jesse to mess up a lot of people. Jesse was doing stuff, and Arthur was fighting against Jesse, and Jesse ain't gonna go with you on that. And they got him. Okay, he was one of the last athletes that halfway stood on anything.
he was one of the only athletes in that time before he passed away that stood for everything that mattered for our people.
Exactly. But yet, they'll all these other people that are infected that have stuff, nobody talks about it. Remember that thing with
Oh, they don't want to
Usher
talk about nothing?
and
Yeah.
the big girl that said he gave her herpes, and
Yeah,
and
well, there's a few people.
mm-hmm,
There's a few people that he's had to pay
mm,
out of court and make settlement with
mm-hmm.
because he gave them the gift that keeps on giving. But everybody wants to take that and not pay attention. You know, oh, they don't
Okay,
want to
and
do
see,
this. You know,
and you know what's interesting?
yeah, but see, he was the Diddy Bop.
Yeah,
He was a Diddy Bop.
mm-hmm.
And now we're hearing from the sex workers that have been with Cassie and Diddy, also now saying that they got the Diddy herpes, and don't nobody wanna
And
like
see,
it's just everyone. Jamal Bryant sitting there telling that Cam Newton that he had pretty legs. What straight man says that to another straight man?
men don't have pretty legs. They have strong legs. They may have
Right.
muscular legs. Pretty, I mean, all right.
That you say that about a woman. You don't say
Yes,
that about a man.
right. You can
And
say that you have well developed or strong or muscular.
but he started talking about what do you use? Shea butter? Do you use Jergen? Ooh, look at the skin. Like he's just sitting there just marveling over this. Yes, he said pretty legs.
But let's
And
go
we're
back.
supposed to believe that this new marriage that he's in is anything more than another gospel side beard situation.
Well, remember, I think I told you that Jamal's mother shoved and elbowed me, almost knocked me off the stage in Howard School of
Yeah,
Business.
yeah, you told me.
And
She
Jamal
wasn't very
Bryant's
fine.
mother, I mean, she looked like Bullwinkle with the wig on. Sorry. I heard she passed a few months ago, you know.
I rest her soul.
Well, I mean, I feel sorry for the tombstone. So, but the thing is, his mom, there were all of these women that impressed me as studs that were there as her entourage, okay? And I'm wondering what she had dealt to. A bunch of these people are in this stuff, you know what I'm saying? And
But the thing is people don't realize how big the culture is and how big the cover up of all of this culture is.
but
And
the
then
point
when you
is,
have people that come forward and speak out, all of a sudden you're the bad person.
the,
All of a
but
sudden
wait a minute,
you're the liar.
the
You're
the
making it up. You're this.
but
You're that.
the Bible says there's no temptation that you are confronted with that isn't common. So same sex, all these things that runs the gamut of people. It isn't 1% or 2%. I mean, I'm sorry, like this. A lot of people are on the almond joy thing. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you don't. Yeah.
Okay, and that's just how it is. I'm not making it right for people. And see, I want to say this. What I don't like about Jamal Bryant and these other people is I love my buddies. I like my friends. I'll even say my friends are beautiful, but they ain't pretty.
Yeah.
All right? They're good heart, good soul, good people. Like the brother from Philly, I had you talk to, Jerome. Brother came and helped me like hack down all the weeds. The weeds was 7 feet tall in my backyard because I haven't felt well with this little cancer shit heat. The heat has made me into a Caucasian. I don't like being around too much heat. It's hot and shit. I used to love being out in the hot. I was so glad. This brother's just a good human being. Came by, helped me hack up, clean up the front yard, and when we got the weeds out the way, I had about 90 peaches on my peach tree. I'll send you a picture. I had a big, big pot full of peaches, and one of them
Oh my
tasted
goodness.
good. But the squirrels, one of them is named Huey. Huey has been fucking up my peach tree. And then when he
That's the
knocks
problem
it,
with them tree rats.
yeah. Well,
They ain't up. That's all the
I,
squirrels.
you know what? I love the squirrels. So the squirrels out front, the
Yeah.
squirrels out front. Eldridge, my favorite squirrel that's black, that comes to sit in my lap and I talk to him. These are black squirrels. The black squirrels steal the peaches. Okay, and then there are the gray squirrels, which are called the white squirrels, which are all female. It's interesting, that even black male squirrels are sellouts. They only get
Just make
with.
sure they don't have Lyme disease.
No, no, no. Well, you know what? It's not like they're gonna bite me, but the brothers just got a heart of gold. They always hook you up. I think it's a good thing for black men and women to be able to love each other, but I don't need someone's nuts on my chin. This is where I clash with gay people. Are they good brothers, attractive brothers, kind brothers, good people to be around, talented? Hell yes. We need to find a way to be together where it isn't necessarily exploitative or
Toxicity
extractive,
and
right?
sexualized. Why
Right.
does
Why do I
everything have
have
to be
to
so
why do I need
sexualized
to
when it comes to
bust
our
your
people?
ass to be friends to you? Why do you have to bust mine? Why do I have to swallow your body fluids or eat bowel movement to be cool with you? It's unacceptable, and it's even more unacceptable when a man wants a woman to lick his ass, toss his salad and shit, where you
See,
want prison sex from a woman. Why the fuck would you get a woman and want to subject her to something that your celly did when you didn't have a choice to be with the real natural woman? And everybody talk about how much they love the pussy. And there are a lot of women, I said this last night, there are a lot of women that wish they could get fucked in their pussy again. I know you hear about this, Jay. I haven't had nobody like put no pipe in me front way. Everybody wants women to be tight ends. That shit's nuts. Now you gonna
you
come
want to
down
know
on
what's
two dudes
crazy?
doing anal sex, and yet all you want from a woman is anal sex. So a woman's pussy is gone begging. Brothers, I mean, women want to be fucked in their pussy like the cavemen used to do it. We gotten so modern till we don't need the pussy no more,
Well, I mean, if you don't need that anymore, then that means you don't need children
and
anymore.
you
And if you
don't
don't
need
need children
life.
anymore, you don't need life anymore. And if you don't need life anymore, then that means they have successfully tricked us into depropagating our own
Deep, yeah,
race.
dying off, and that brings us back to Ofaga. Obama's one of the worst people. See, to me, I would respect Obama more if he said, I was your president for 2 terms. I served pretty well. I think it's fair. Now that I'm not in public life, I'm a private citizen, that I can be honest with you. I like dick. I like them black. I like them pink when they're on the white man. I like being jerked off. I like people tossing my salad. I like guys that can cook and fuck. Michelle's a side piece. It was a package arrangement. I couldn't just come to the White House and say, hey, I'm Barack Obama, I'm biracial, and I suck dick. Vote for me. Where that would have got me? Nowhere. So I had to lie to you. I had to lie to you like everybody else is lying in this country. I like little kids too. And not just on my knee. I just felt like we could have an open conversation with one another. You've been seeing me, buying my books, and millions of you voted for me twice, 2 times. So don't act like you don't like me. I would rather him just come out and say it. James Baldwin could be out with it. A lot of people have come out with this shit. Why do we have to have Obama and all these other people be?
Because then maybe people would start asking questions that they don't want people to ask.
I would rather Obama say.
The simple fact that Candace Owens would sit there and run down on the French president's wife, and she's not French, and have nothing to say about what's going on with Obama Nation.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy. And then, somebody kind of said, oh, well, people say it in her comments, and she hosted in her comments. And yeah, but that's not the point. The point is when she went after Scamala, she spared no expense. Even after the woman lost, she kept going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She kept going until she went and found the grandma's
well, I'm glad she did, but the thing is Candace Owens, if we can be honest, she's a tether, one. The other thing about Candace Owens, she's married to this white guy. She's had 4 kids. And I think she's having a kid for every increment of $20 million that he has. I think he has like 180 million. So I think she's going to have about six or 8 kids to make certain that if he leaves her, she's going to get paid real good. Now,
but see, that's the thing. He has ties to British royalty.
Mm-hmm.
He has ties to all of this stuff. I mean, in my honest opinion, I think she's controlled opposition. I think she works for the government. I think she is a detractor. And I'm really I'm kind of tired of her playing in everybody's face. Like, she sat there with that whole Harvey Weinstein thing.
Mm-hmm.
She never even held Me Too accountable at all for why they did not come forward. She never held Tyrana Burke accountable for anything. Then he loses his case. It's like they use her to keep people busy.
But how could she be with Turning Point USA? And let's be honest. I used to work for the Republican Party. And that was a hell of an education, because that is the most gay thing I've ever dealt with is Republicans. They way more gay than the Democrats. The Democrats are just honest. Republicans, oh my God, the log cabin Republican, and it would have a log, right? The goldenrods, I mean, the gay Republicans rock. Come on, Lindsey Graham, who looks like Angela Lansbury, and it should be Sissy, he wrote. Okay, just saying. He does look like Angela Lansbury. Yeah, he do.
Does.
He looks like Angela, damn it, I'm right. And it's the same way Macron's wife looks like Dr. Spock with a different nose. It's, right?
I don't know. I think everyone just needs to just accept the fact that everyone is lying about this shit.
Everybody's
Nobody
lying.
wants to tell the truth. And you shouldn't be so quick to call people liars when they're calling things out for what it is, because
Mm-hmm.
the people who you're defending, those are the liars. Those are the ones that are doing all the lying.
And I want to go back to something, because you were
Sure.
saying, okay, I'm part of the bisexual community. All right, whatever. My thing is, and what I would ideally like to see among black people, is for us to be able to care about each other and it be cruelty free.
Exactly.
And I've been straight on. I'll tell you, I adore Jerome. I love my friend Eric. I love my sister friends Miriam, and all of the ladies that I have that I'm in love with Karen that you talked to, Big Mama. I love black people, and I love humanity, so it's not limited to just us. But there's something special and unique to black American women. There's something special and unique to black American men. And we should be able to love it and appreciate it and own it. Like I was saying the other day, the way I grew up with white boys initially, and I'm glad I did because when I got around black boys in school and all, and in the community, I learned that we weren't taught to like each other. So if I really like Odell, I can't say, brother, I just love the stuff you're good in technology, and I have to say, Odell, I got some pussy last night. Pussy is good. I love pussy. I have to sit down and have a pussy conversation and trash the reputation of black women I know in order to get
Be
another man's
accepted by other
attention.
black men.
And why do black men need to destroy the integrity and the dignity of black women to deal with each other? And then, after all this talk, still turn around and fuck each other. After all this performative manhood, you still sucking a dick. And this is why when I was teaching, and I couldn't get certain people to do their schoolwork because we have all these stupid myths. If you read, you're gay. So I had to say to this young brother who wouldn't do my work, well, man, I don't want to read no book. I ain't read no book. I ain't read. And I said to him, you know what? Let me say something to you. Since if not reading made people straight, why is a disproportionate number of niggas fucking each other in jail illiterate? It seems as if when I try to get you to read, I'm like literally putting a book in front of your butthole to keep a dick from going in there, and you keep yanking the book out. It's like you want to get fucked in your ass, and you hate me for stopping you, and yet I'm gay for trying to stop someone from fucking you. Are you understanding me? Somebody's craziness, not me. And the guy paused. No, they started doing their work more. But says, I'm trying to keep a dick out your ass. Why are you trying to put one in, and yet you're accusing me of trying to put one in?
It's always strange. I think
Because we haven't worked through this shit. You know, slavery, chattel slavery is long gone. But the psychological slavery, we haven't begun to take the locks and shit off the chains on our minds, and we should be making every effort to do so. And they keep offering us new games, whether it's red or blue, whether it's Ofaga or whatever it is, or whether it's Come Swallow. And she was a whole, and you know Kamala's bi. I really believe Kamala Harris is bi. You can see like that jaw shit, and she has that ostrich skin effect on her face. You know, I could just see her going down with some cooch. Now, what do you think? Do you think she could be bi?
number one, she's an AKA.
Gay KK,
So
which was started by a gay woman.
yeah.
Lucy Dick Slow, and Lucy Dix, at least she wasn't colorist. She had a high yellow girlfriend and a dark one. She munched both ways, so she wasn't in the paper bag. So she's advancing that. She didn't discriminate. I'm gonna give her credit.
What I don't understand is what's up with all of the agenda? Like it's so much agenda, so much agenda, so much agenda, and we're not getting anywhere. We keep chasing our tail. Like it's one controversy, one scandal, another controversy, another scandal, this, that, and the third, and we never get to any kind of real solution, any kind of real resolution. We just keep doing the same thing over and over again, using the same lies, the same cover, the same this. It's exactly the little fires everywhere, and then the next thing you know, the whole town is burned down, and there's been so much confusion and chaos going on that can't nobody remember who's responsible for anything. Malcolm Jamal Warner, look at what they're doing with his death right now. There have literally been 15 different versions of how this man has died in a week.
In a week.
15.
And you know what? I'm gonna say something. Where's Bill Cosby's ass? He could have at least given some condolences.
He has. He came forward and said something, and then they took that and said that he had him sacrificed.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because they asked him, how he felt about Malcolm's passing, and he said it reminded him of when his son was taken. And they were like, oh, he just admitted. Yeah, the wife as well. And see, we're going to have this conversation since we here in the private room. because I can discuss this with you. And we, for those of us that are here, we're here. Number one, his wife, he never wanted his wife or his daughter's identity out there in the public.
Hmm.
And, that's the first time I had ever heard about Malcolm being that private about a relationship. First time. And I said to myself, well, he must be trying to protect them from the industry. If he wants them, because I can understand it. People get on to you, they start stalking you, they start stalking your spouse. Now you got people showing up at your kid's school. Got it. But then somebody just doxed his wife right after he passed away. Turns out she's a Law and Order actress. NBC.
Hmm.
Now, if anybody doesn't know anything about NBC is a demon pit. It's also attached to Universal, which is attached to UMG, Universal Music Group.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking Lucian Grange. We're talking all of this stuff. All of these Luciferian people. This is NBC. Very, very, very dangerous. Be very careful of anybody you see doing business with NBC, especially if they're black. Because if they're black and they got a job at NBC, 9 times out of 10, they set somebody else up to be sacrificed. That's usually how NBC rewards black people. You had to slump somebody to get there.
And Cosby tried to.
NBC or the Jimmy Fallon, let's fall on every penis show.
Hmm.
And they didn't get their lifetime agreement. They were still waiting to be renewed up until recently, up until Hub died, which was after when Malik died, which was also after Richard Nichols died. Like, you gotta look and pay attention to the black people that do business and are working at NBC. It's very, very, very nefarious. But the simple fact that his wife was an NBC actress, apparently it was agreed upon the both of them that they didn't want her public persona to be attached to his name at all. And now, the initial report was when they were going to Costa Rica, which is a hotbed for satanic cults and all kinds of nefarious stuff, it was supposed to have been a family vacation. But how do you have a family vacation when your wife didn't go? So it was said that your wife was there at first, and then your wife wasn't there, and then it was said that your wife didn't find out till she was on the phone, but your daughter went, and then it was said that you went down there for a homeschooling effort, but there is no homeschooling efforts because homeschooling isn't acknowledged in Costa Rica. Then it was said that you and your daughter were swimming, and you died, you were trying to save your daughter. Then it said that your daughter wasn't out in the water at all. She was sitting on the beach while you was out there in the water. And then it was also said that you was out there with a 19-year-old girl or some other dude, and y'all was surfing, and then he wasn't surfing, and then you got hit with the surfboard. And this person saved the daughter, but the daughter was never there. It's all of this bullshit. And now they're saying that he didn't even die at the beach. He died at a swimming pool and he was taken there. There's and now they're questioning the wife, and I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, now all of a sudden they're talking about a Cosby Show reboot. Now all of a sudden they're talking about doing the Gordon Guard Trail. They want to monetize that, and they want to sell that as memorabilia. These people are energy vampires, and they like siphoning and taking off of people's this, that, and the third. But it crossed my mind. It just made me think. And then they're talking about, just demonic possession, and Ozzy Osbourne passed away. He passed away. There's a lot of satanic stuff going on based around his death. For somebody who was a God-fearing man and very, very positive, but the wife is mum's the word. Like, it's like they got her on a leash.
Well,
And she wasn't even, and she wasn't even there, but she didn't want to be known, and everything had to be quiet. And I'm just like, did they put this bitch on to
maybe
corral him?
they you know
He did.
they
He
inch.
did. He did a video when he first got there. Like when he was there, like one of his last videos, he did a post, and he was sitting there in his red room. Is anybody not remembering Diddy and Cassie and their video in the red room? There's a lot of red room shit going on when things
Hmm.
when they playing in
Di-
this demonic
you're
thing,
you're
and
you're
he's
above
sitting there.
you're above my pay grade there.
No, I'm just saying he's
No, no, no.
sitting
I'm
there in the
hearing
red
you. I'm
room.
hearing you. I'm hearing you. Red table talk, red bottom shoes, the red
Yeah,
shoes with, I, and the eyes wide shut, the color red. So
exactly.
I don't know it like you do. I, you
Why
know,
is
I, s-
nobody looking at any of this? Is everybody forgetting Eyes Wide Shut,
it,
where
it,
they were showing how they put the demonic sexual rituals, the freak offs,
mhm.
together? It was Stanley Kubrick's last film,
Or the
and he
Hotel
died,
California mindset.
and he died mysteriously right after that. Not only that, there were three different versions of the movie, but the version that he wanted to go out was the one that they had sealed, and they went to court to make sure that one didn't do it because there was supposed to have been more detail in it. And the version that went out was, the least they get. They did a re-edit of his movie
Hmm.
after he passed
Hmm.
away, and it was supposed to have been his warning to the public about how the Hollywood machine and the entertainment machine was using demonic sexual, ritualistic sexual practices to enslave, to hurt, to corral, and to manipulate the public.
Hmm.
So I guess don't nobody want to acknowledge how similar a lot of the stuff with these freak offs is that was with the imagery and the symbolism that was happening in
And,
that
and
movie.
and they had
But wait
freak.
a minute, but he was sitting there, I gotta tell you this, so he's sitting there in this red room, and he's looking kind of nervous because he was like, oh, when I got here, I had no idea of this, and all of these people, that I didn't know that they were going to be here. I didn't know that they were going to be here. And they were telling me how glad they were to see me and how supportive. But he was looking very suspicious. So you go on a family vacation, but your wife doesn't go, and you go with your daughter, and then they got your daughter on the beach while you're dying in the ocean,
Hmm.
and don't nobody know how, and all of these people that you had no idea that you knew
Mhm.
start showing up out of nowhere. Like, this is very, very strange.
It is strange, and I was thinking, mentioning to you about the parties that Burt Lancaster and all these people, these sex parties and rituals, and people disappearing and all this stuff, and the song Hotel California. You can check in anytime, but you can never leave. This is talking about the cult and this stuff that's there, and it's the only thing you can do is try to separate yourself from it and not be a part of it. And people try to get you in. And now,
You see, do you see the hell that my life has had to go through because I got away?
yeah. What's the song they
Because I
sing
got
in church?
away.
Satan thought he
Like, that's
had
the
me,
thing.
but I got
Ev-
away.
Everyone wants to have so many questions about me and my career and what happened. Was I blackballed? Did I leave? I left. I saw what they were doing.
Hmm.
I saw what was going on.
Let me
And I
ask you a
knew as
question.
long as I was a part of it, I was going to help it keep going. If I keep releasing music on these people's record labels where they're sitting there collecting all of the money, they're using the money to keep hurting people, to keep doing this to people, to keep
Right,
tearing
right,
people apart.
right.
As long as I choose to be a part of that system in any way, I am complicit. I have to remove myself completely.
And let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you were to put a dollar figure on what it is that you lost or didn't get, or what you've given up, how many millions?
45 million.
You're saying so?
I did the
45.
math.
It's cost you
45 million.
close,
45 million. I did the math. They're still holding my masters hostage.
but not just
They,
that. But hold it.
they literally had both of my albums cataloged on title. Why would Jay-Z be streaming my music? I was never signed to him.
Hmm.
The deal that they made with my first ex-husband, the forged documents, they owe me 45 million.
Okay, so
They
40.
owed
That's just
Angie,
one instance, and
they owed Angie 50.
so hold on. I'm asking you for the totality, potential earnings, and other things, and
Oh,
concerts, and what.
probably about a quarter billion, about 250
So
million. Probably.
$250 million, which is
Yeah,
about the
all
net,
with,
which is about the net worth of what they say Diana Ross has. You would have
yeah.
that level of money if you had
If I
not
had a play, yeah.
had
If I
not.
had never left, if I had continued to play along, if I had continued to turn my head while I was watching them sacrifice people, do all kinds of stuff, do all the crazy stuff they was doing, you know, nobody wants to talk about the fact that I called all of these men out for all of those groupies. Or are they victims on those tour buses that they caught from state to state to state to state? If people knew exactly how many girls got trafficked on these male musicians tour bus, how many of these girls get invited in? Oh yeah, come with us. You can come on the road with us. Next thing you know, they're halfway across the country. Next thing you know, they're drugged. Next thing you know, they're not in the country. All of this stuff has been going on for years.
Mm-hmm.
For years.
Rolling Stones were doing it.
Yeah.
I remember the people, part of my life, they were all fucking on the 747 and so forth, and it's awful. I want
Like,
to
why
say
is nobody paying attention to the fact that everything that Diddy had going on in this house was the exact same thing that Hugh Hefner had going on in his house,
right,
and they were neighbors in the same neighborhood.
and,
He
and
had all of the cameras too.
all
He was filming everybody
all
too.
this
He
stuff.
had everybody
Do you,
on tape
do
too.
do you
Like,
th- do you think that you know, and you know that Hugh Hefner is related to the Bushes?
what about the Bushes?
He's related. Hugh Hefner is related to the Bushes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that means that. So, do you think Mossad, CIA, because you know there's a documentary anyone can watch, which is Hollywood Goes to War, and it talks about how the U.S. government weaponized the studio system, which were run then by our small hat brothers and sisters, and then even before that, you had the Creole Commission, where people weaponized media and music and all of this to get people to go to war with Germany. They did that again with Germany and Japan, and they even, you know, Operation Chaos, MK Ultra. There's all this mind control and Laurel Canyon. I know you've been in Laurel Canyon and all the weird things to this day that happen in Laurel
A lot
Canyon,
of things that happened in
and a
Laurel
whole
Canyon,
bunch
a
of
lot of
untalented
sacrifices, whether they
people.
want to say it or not.
People used to talk about the fact that when you would see black artists back in the day, they were truly talented. And white kids out of Laurel Canyon would have a Laurel Canyon hookup. People couldn't play an instrument, couldn't sing, having number one records and albums and so forth. And it's all connected to the intelligence labs and things that they're doing out there. And they're going to do this with AI as well.
Well,
If
they're
they,
already
I
doing
know,
it
I
with
know, I
AI.
know, I know.
Listen to Dr. Short. I was so surprised to hear one of my moderators. She makes her little AI records and stuff. They actually have a Jaguar Wright voice where you program, you put this, and it makes the AI voice try to emulate the way I riff, the way I sing. They're already doing it.
Hmm. Now, let me see. We're at 2:33. I've got
Hmm.
about an hour if you want to run for another hour, or at
We can
least
run as long as you like to run,
I mean
or we can.
I would like to do this again. You know, Dr. Stella Emanuel. You know, the frontline doctors that were trying to warn everybody about the jab. You know, the woman that talks about the devil's sperm.
Yeah.
She's my friend. I want you to meet her. I
Okay.
got her number. Would you talk to her if you could?
Well, I'll yeah, I mean, maybe she'd be willing to come through
No, no,
here
no.
and have a
She
conversation.
would.
No, she would never do
I'm
that.
gonna. I'm gonna. That's the reason. Do you really think I
Oh,
would pass up talking to you for 4 or 5 hours if I could, were it not for good reason? But you're one queen, and that woman has saved easily 100,000 lives. And they told people that she's a conspiracy theorist, has never lost a patient when tens, millions of people have died, and all they do is they trash her. And uh, I don't know. All of
it
my
was love
friends
to
are
talk.
people that folks hate. They want to kill her. And I'm thinking, why does everyone want to kill the friends I have? I mean, I don't even have that many friends that can't even keep up, you know. And people don't understand there's a spiritual war against what's good and
It
what's
is.
right. And but yeah, I'm gonna go to see her, Simone Gold, and the woman you talked to, Apostle
I
Charlotte.
definitely want to. I want to invite Sister Karen to come through and talk because
Oh, Big
she
Mama.
has
Oh
so
my
much
God. She
really.
knows everybody's business. I'm not responsible for anything she says about people in the Nation of Islam. I try to stay out of that shit. I already told you, Elijah Muhammad's in my family. And I just met this dude running for mayor of Tuskegee, Alabama. We started talking, and all of a sudden, he was at the family reunion in Milledgeville. And 30 years ago, meaning that this dude is my cousin and we're all related to Elijah Muhammad. It's all one family. And so I don't agree with people messing with kids and all this kind of shit. But I try to, and I was telling the people down there, they hate me. They say I act like Elijah Muhammad. I don't. I'm nothing like, but they still hated me. We don't like you. You're just like him. And stay away from our kids and shit. And I'm thinking, you know what? This stuff is crazy. And by the way, this shit was going on in the nation. Okay, that's what got Malcolm X's ass killed. And this stuff was going on in the
When
um
he found out what was happening,
yeah, and it wasn't
and he
just him.
cried about it.
Yeah, this was going on with Yahweh ben Yahweh. This was going on with the Moors. That's how somebody's ass got killed, was over pussy. And, you know, one thing I hope for black men is to understand there isn't a pussy shortage. If we could just get there, you know, I had this poem about pussy shortage, and because this is what makes black men petty. And the thing that's crazy is you have a pussy shortage, and yet you're trying to fuck men. I make up your mind, brothers. You're all over the place. You think the world's gonna run out of pussy, so you're mad at every other black man. You if he's straight, you hate him because he wants pussy, and if he's gay, you don't want to give him none. Why are we fucked up like this?
I have
And,
no
and so to
idea.
me, I'm happy that you want to fuck someone and not me. I'm happy that you're straight. I'm happy that you're putting that blunt object in someone else's
But can we?
orifice.
No, but can we talk about that? Like,
Yeah,
why
let's
is it
talk
that
about it.
nobody
I'm here.
wants to nobody wants to look at how real. And I hate the whole black love. Like every time I see them put the black love moniker, the first thing that I'm looking at is, okay, which one is gay or are both of them gay? Because that's usually the bullshit that they got going on with it. Nobody's
Um,
talking about real black relationships.
No, they're not.
so,
And,
So
and,
it's
and,
like
hold
I
on one
have to,
second.
yeah.
No. I know Dr. Short said he has about an hour. I was gonna say when you guys are ready, just if there are people that have questions and if we want to open it up to
okay, then I tell you
people
what.
that may want to unmute, but
Oh, okay, I tell you what we'll do. I want to talk about Tethegeddon for about 5, 6 minutes, but I also want Jag to finish up on this black love shit because I gotta
yeah,
like go off on Bev Smith for a few minutes, and then we can
Yeah.
go to Q&A. But we've got to do with Tethegeddon. In
and then
fact, Jag,
yeah,
can I do a song
yeah,
or two, just
and
pieces?
then wait, hold on, Dr. Short. In all honesty, next week if you're open, I mean, we could reconvene. Just it's up to
Okay,
you. It's up to
it's
you
up
and
to
Jag. So
Jag. She's the
yeah, it's up to
star.
Jag. So
I'm sort of
It's
like
up
Ed
it's
McMahon.
up to you whenever whatever time you
You're
have.
Johnny Carson. I'm Ed McMahon. Here's Jaggy. Okay, I'm just here to try to say to everybody, this woman's on. Okay, so if you want, I want. If you don't want, I don't want. And I said that to you Christmas Day. It's what you need to be supported, and people need to see that they're black men that love Jag, and we don't give a fuck. And if someone says she's bisexual, a lot of people, I want to munch pussy myself, so I'm not mad at her. Let her work it
Who's
out with God,
bisexual?
right? And if
Who's
so,
bisexual?
a lot of us have nibbled titties. We were babies. I was lactose intolerant. I never nibbled a
Wait a
titty.
minute. Who's bisexual?
No, I'm teasing. I'm just saying. And
Oh.
I'm saying it's,
Oh, I was
because
about
people
to
say, well,
say,
Jags all
who
over
is
the
it?
place. I have a friend
No,
that's in the.
I'm not all over the place.
I didn't say
I'm a
you.
bisexual woman,
I didn't say
but
you.
I'm in a monogamous relationship
Exactly.
with a straight black man, and that is very, very, very possible. And a lot of things that people don't understand, as far as my bisexuality is concerned, that is all symptomatic of my abuse.
Yes, ma'am.
See, a lot of people don't want, they hear me say something, but they don't ever really pay attention.
Trauma
By
and
the time,
abuse.
yeah,
Yeah, trauma
yeah,
and abuse. And that's why I'm not screaming at Thomas Dodson. When I talked to you about all the people that got abused, my cousin that was getting raped and he ended
yeah,
up dying from AIDS, the people screwed him until they took him out on the gurney. There, a lot of what we find repellent in other people is the result of what's been done to them. So when I have a
yeah,
conversation with anybody gay, my point is, when did this start? And if anybody hurts you, I consider it situational because sexuality is situational. I hate to say it. Proof of that is I can be a man. I was at my friend's swearing in as a judge, and there was this very bulkish looking, odd looking woman, but we were talking about drugs. I was talking about taking
yeah.
fentanyl and shit. I'm just telling you. And I wasn't trying to like hook up with them, but you know, they did have like a big, broad back. I didn't know it was a dude, although I wouldn't have been surprised. But somebody who was straight that probably likes big Hulk Hogan built type women could probably get a rise off of that person saying, I'd love to break that hole's back. And he's being attracted to a man. It's not intentionally homosexual, but you're vibing sexually off of a man presenting himself as a woman. This sex thing is quite serious, which is why the
Psychological.
scriptures talk about they don't want men dressing in women's clothes. Because if you dressed up, certain cats, I mean, and they didn't know, certain dudes think, damn, I'm gonna fuck her. Otherwise, it's a dude. That's why people's asses get killed sometimes. Because I was ready to jump in this shit, and they reach in, they thought they're gonna get some kiwi fruit, and it's a banana and plums. Niggas won't fight. So, because we have issues with understanding, yes, sex is spiritual and it's psychological, and it, I wish it were all set in stone, right? But it
Yeah, but I
isn't.
mean, this has been going on since the beginning of time, and that's the thing that I don't think that people really understand. Like, we treat sexuality and all of these things like these are things that have just happened in the past, 1,000,
When
2,000
Obama
years.
became president.
No, 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 no. This goes all the way back to the beginning of time. Like,
Hmm.
people keep forgetting Sodom and Gomorrah. That didn't happen in the New Testament. That didn't happen late in the Old Testament. That was in Genesis.
And they were black.
That was in
They they were they
Genesis.
were black. They
Yeah.
were black booty bandits trying to fuck angels thousands of years ago. I would, all the little Afrocentric people, we the
Like,
first
people,
this. Well, we were the first fags. We were the first queens. We were the first
we were
trannies. We were the
the
first
first people
studs. We
means,
were the
the
first
first everything.
freaks. We were the
Yeah.
first pedophiles. Shit. Take all of it.
All that stuff.
You can't take
But
a
see,
piece of it.
and that's the thing. And that was the other thing. A lot of people get upset with me when I start talking about Sodom and Gomorrah and stuff like that because people keep saying, "Oh, well, it's evil. They was evil because they was homosexual. They was no, they were evil because they were fucking evil. These were evil people.
Hmm.
This had nothing to do with this. They weren't punished because of their sexuality. They were punished because of what they were doing with it. They were raping people. They was gang banging people. They was doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Absolutely. And,
That's why. It
and,
wasn't it wasn't because of what they were, it's because of what they were doing.
and if Lot's daughters had been so holy, why were they so quick to fuck their daddy after they
Exactly.
diddyfied his ass, got him drunk, and ran the train on
Got
their
him
own daddy?
drunk and all of that.
I mean, it's right there. It's in the book.
And guess what?
It's in the
And
damn
look at
book.
and,
It's in
and
the
look at the
Bible.
descendants and
Read,
look at the
niggas.
descendants of their children. They're still at war to this day.
Yes, there is, and even
Iran and Iraq.
the book of Maccabees, where the folks made sodomy was state law. You had to bring your son in so they could fuck him in the temple. That's right there,
Where?
Book of Maccabees, and you can't say no.
Already.
The same way you can't opt out of the California Healthy Child Initiative, where your kid has to learn how to put lube up their ass when they're in the first grade. This shit ain't new. Now
Like this
we
is
were talking about
it's
black
insane stuff
love.
that they got going
We were
on.
talking about black love, and I want to say
Yeah.
about the black love thing. I hate positivity box coons. People put all this black positivity out as if we've got shit together and we're busted down from the roof to the floor, and that we need to come together, clean up. We need some amnesty. I mean, part of reparations is us repairing each other instead of destroying each other, which is what
Yeah.
we've been doing alongside the white supremacists. In fact, they've
We've been doing it
outsourced
better
their
than them.
jobs to our asses. Let's just be real about this. And so I
That's what they
remember
do.
trying to have a conversation when Bev Smith would do Night Talk. Remember that show? And they
I
would
heard about
never
it.
ever talk about any of the difficulties or pain or trauma or any of this stuff. You got to meet my buddy Sheila Halt, the expert, Dr. Sheila Halt, the expert on trauma for black children and children in general in DC. And they fired and ran her out of the school system for trying to save kids' lives, right? That I says, Bev, how come we can't talk about the stuff that's going on? The people that get raped and molested. I saw a whole bunch of people that I grew up with die from AIDS. A lot of them have been molested. Gay black guys at Howard School of Fine Arts. The guy who was mentored to Chadwick Boseman, that everybody knew was gay, who used to pick up men with the man that lived in my house in Meridian Hill Park, Malcolm X Park, took Chadwick Boseman over to Ghana. I'm not saying they did anything, but I wouldn't put it past that dude that he didn't try to grab his shit, because that's the kind of person he was. I knew him before Chadwick did. We need to talk about all of this. We need to talk about the fact. Just take Chadwick. When I saw Chadwick, he was way, 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 way more moist than what you saw in Black Panther. He didn't have a beard on his face, and he's very, very soft. I'm just saying, nice kid, soft. And then, of course, when he died, notice you don't hear him talk about him anymore. I mean,
They
a
don't
bit,
talk about him at
yeah,
all.
but he died of cancer, and that cancer was up his ass. Okay, it's colorectal at your ass. And the kind of aggressive cancers that kill heavily black men are cancers that people get up the ass. You have 3 to 5 years. Okay, you're talking to a person who's diagnosed with stage 4 cancer a year ago this month. I have aggressive cancer, okay, but it ain't up my ass. And that colorectal cancer comes often. It's almost universal with men that have anal sex. Doesn't mean I love Chadwick Boseman. Beautiful, beautiful man. I thought great. I liked him. I don't hate you if you're gay or lesbian. Where I disagree with you is the public health things to yourself and everybody else. And if you got taken or abused or molested when you were young or hurt by people, continuing to have sex in that vein doesn't deal with the harm. It doesn't solve that. As I asked someone, how many dicks would make you happy? I asked someone, and I says, I'm generous. If I could get you to agree to only fuck 3,000 people, would you then be happy? And that guy started yelling and screaming, how dare you give me a number? So 3,000 is oppressive to you? That sounds like an addiction, that you could even conceive of having more than 3,000 people and not seeing that this serial fornication, and I don't care if you're straight, it's an addiction. I don't care whether, and to me, the dude that needs to fuck a different woman every day, to me, is a fag that likes pussy.
That's it.
Because if you really can connect spiritually to a woman, a real woman, like I can talk to this, I got lady friends that I'm like any other. I could talk to my friend Aja for 10, 12 hours straight. and not be tired. The other one, I can't tell. I'm like 10 minutes. Please, I gotta go. Right? When you can connect at least spiritually to the soul of a
Yes.
woman, it's not interchangeable. It's not like snap tight plastic bricks and shit, where one
Yeah.
pussy size fits all. There's a spirituality to it, and they know this from micro chimera. When a man busts a nut in a woman, some of that sperm leaves his characteristics in the womb. And I'm wondering, if someone busts a nut in your throat, does it happen to you there? And if someone busts you up the ass, is it a possibility that the
No, but see, that's the thing. And that's what I keep talking about. Like, with everyone talking about, they want to run down on Cassie. Cassie is the biggest whore ever in the history of whores. She did this, she did that, she turned Diddy out. It was all her.
is
And
she
then
bigger
she
than
divorced.
Kamala?
I doubt it.
Oh,
But my thing it's the transfer of the spirits.
yes,
People keep forgetting about the word soul tie. We
yes.
when you start having intercourse with someone, whether you're using a condom or not, you're creating a link. If you're not using a condom, and semen is transferred into the womb, all of that. Women are receptors. We receive. So the more men that you're screwing, the more spiritual stuff you're taking inside of you. And whatever comes along with him is what is left behind. That's why, people get mad when they hear me call women cum dumpsters.
Mm.
But let's just be real.
Well,
That's what it is. If you're sitting there taking all of these semen specimens
mhm.
inside of your body, you're trashing your soul.
And there's something else,
There's nothing but confusion.
and I call folks abortion queens. Where basically, you need some yellow tape up on some of these pussies because they're crime scene. Um, and the same thing for men. My brother was never the same after his first child was aborted. Didn't want to man up. Maybe it wasn't his kid, but he thought it may have been, so she killed it. This abortion, we disproportionately abort children. And they talk about all this damn black love, Bev Smith. And I just says, why can't we talk about what's really happening? You're a woman. Women get raped. All this other stuff. I didn't say only talk about that. We can celebrate love, but can't we talk about we've been ripped by the whites and everybody else?
You
Why
don't get
can't
the
we
love
touch
if
this?
you don't deal with the trauma.
Exactly.
There is no space for love
Exactly.
until you
Exactly.
dealt with the trauma.
Exactly.
Everyone
Exactly.
can't have
Exactly.
black love
Exactly.
until you deal with
Ex-
black trauma.
Exactly. I have a friend, a couple of them, that have told me that they're gay. I told one person, you're not really a lesbian. Says, you've been disappointed and hurt. You ain't a lesbian. You haven't had a man sweep you off your feet. So don't tell me you don't like men. Say you don't like the way men have treated you. And you're right. But since you also know that the woman that you went to beat your ass too. So in reality,
That's the thing that trips me out when you see these women that talk about how much they hate men, and then they end up with a woman that's more abusive or just as abusive as any other man.
and they
Like,
don't
I
pay
look
for
at the women
pussy.
in the
That's
industry,
that's a look. They are more violent, and they don't pay for pussy. You can get a dude to subsidize. He will fuck a woman, won't necessarily be nice, and he'll let her have a girlfriend. He'll pay for everything, right? And he'll pay for pussy. The stud gets everything free. In fact, the stud doesn't have to keep her skin up or look good and shit. I've seen women with dirty wife beaters and shit. No woman would claim a man out in the public like that. Do you follow what I'm saying? That's a standard for
oh no,
men
listen to
and
me,
almost none
Rusty.
for a
I
stud.
know
That shit just
stud
pissed me off.
females, these stud females, to me, they're some of the most offensive
Yes.
because they talk about they hate men, but they want to act like a man. They want to pretend to be a man. They want to, and everything that these studs do with women, it is the most negative male
Mhm.
qualities. Like you're not even trying to be a better version of what you say you
No.
are. You want to emulate every terrible thing that these men have done, and then you want to, yeah, because I gotta put my man on. I gotta put my man on.
Isn't that crazy?
It's insane.
And it's the same thing for men who
Yeah, and the
hate
things why
women
they
but want
practice
a
it.
feminized man. You want a tranny over a real woman with the real pussy, not that al that snapping turtle shit that they do, the clip and tuck shit that hurts. Imagine someone being screwed in their fake vagina and acting like it feels good to them when they don't even like it. Or imagine the
Listen, do
stud that
you
gets
know how many people I know that have had those surgeries? Actually, most trans that I know that have had those surgeries hate them. They hate the result.
they hate the sex and they commit suicide.
There's been so many of these transgender men well, transgender women who were male, went to female, got it, got their fake vagina, and then their vagina started closing up and started rejecting. It's
Mm.
yeah, a lot of them,
And,
like a lot of them end up regretting it, and that's why I've always told any of the trans that I dealt with, do not mutilate yourself.
yeah, it's not a
Don't
sex
mutilate
change.
yourself.
It's a sex mutilation. And these people that get these fake dicks and fake pussies got more leaks than the Trump White House, or should I say, hog shit. Secretary of Defense is they have more leaks than the Department of Defense does these days.
What it
It's
does is it creates
ridiculous.
a whole lot of
It's
other
awful.
physical
It's
problems
awful.
that create more
It's
problems.
awful.
They become sickly.
It's
All
awful.
kinds of
It's
stuff.
awful.
And
The
my thing is whatever you choose to do, you can choose to do it. But God didn't make no mistake.
God didn't make a mistake.
God didn't make no
I
mistake.
think I told you the story. My black love story is my guy Reginald Felder, whose mother was abusive and didn't treat him right, and she tried to turn him into a girl, and he had to raise his brothers and sisters as his mother ran after men and shit in the street, and the people in the church supported and promoted him being effeminate and all this other kind of stuff. At a certain point in his life, he decided, well, he's gay, even though he's in the apostolic church and it's all strict and shit, and tired of people. And what happened was he went to St. Elizabeth Hospital, and when he checked in, there was a black nurse there. God bless her. And she said, "You don't have to tell me why you're here." And he says, "Well, how do you know? Why do you think I'm here?" She says, "You're here because your mother's a bitch and she didn't care about you." And he says, "You can't say that about my mother." She says, "Yes, I can. I see people like you every day." He says, "So why am I here?" She says, "Well, you think you're gay." It says, "Well, I am gay and I've always," it says, "Let me make an agreement with you. I want 1 week to work with you because I'm tired of seeing all of these good black men cancel themselves out. And I want you to not tell anybody about the treatments that I'm going to give you so you can get out of here." So the first day she came in, before he could do anything, she snatched his drawers off and gave him a blowjob. And she kept his arm. She was strong, kept him from stopping her. And he said he didn't like it. And she said, "You do like it. You think you don't like it, but you know you do." And he says, "I'm gay." He says, "No, you're not."
This is getting creepy.
Next day she came back. When she opened the door, he was half erect when the door opened when she walked in. Third day, he was fully erect. And on the fourth day, he was on top of her in his room. He checked out within a week. When he came out of the hospital, he got married, had multiple children, and was the most homophobic person you ever want to meet. But that nurse said, "You know what? Nobody's ever told you. I'm not going to let you tell me that you
You want
hate
to know
pussy."
what's funny? That story that you told,
Yeah.
They would arrest her for grooming and say that she sexually assaulted.
Yeah, no. He thanked that woman, and it's the same way I used to Butler. There was a white boy from Louisiana. He could have been a flamethrower. He was such a queen. I saw him up at the Suitland Metro Station near the U.S. Census Building, and I couldn't believe it was him. It was still him, but he was with this Mexican woman that looked like a horny toad, and she was carrying their mulatto baby. This Mexican girl fucked this boy back into straightness. Nobody had ever said, I love you. You tell me this gay shit, I don't want to hear that. I want you, you need me. We're going to make this work out. And there have been a whole bunch of situations where they understand that God has a plan for man and woman to be together. A whole bunch of people do sexual exploration and get confused and shit and get it together. Ultimately, everybody has to sort something out. Self-discovery is part of life. And if you've got trauma and bullshit in your family, it's even hard to figure out who the hell you are. But I don't like this idea. Oop, someone touched your dick when you were 5. You just have to suck dick and be a tranny the rest of your life. I don't buy it. I don't want to hear it. I don't
Well, see,
receive it.
No, but that's what
Yeah,
happens.
but you know what? There's another side to it that's disgusting. There are a lot of sorry ass men and women who hate people, who condemn people to forever be trapped in that choice if that's not where they want to be, and make fun of them and keep them in it. It's like, God, man, I wish everybody was a faggot. More pussy for me. You monster. You can't be in everybody. It is not straight when black men destroy and castrate other black men, so there's fewer normal men for sisters to interact with. And it's awful for studs to turn out women and shit where they don't like me. This is crazy.
Slavery and all of the effects of the mental manipulation and everything that happened in slavery, because when you look at it now, you have a bunch of transgender men and a bunch of gay men competing with straight women for black men. It's just pitting against each other,
And you know what's really evil? Nothing really changes. My cousin Angela, I think I told you about my cousin that had the nude domestic cleaning service, so you could have people clean your house naked. She's making good money.
Yeah,
I told you my family's crazy. I told you my family was crazy. I'm not responsible. I didn't make I never got paid. I didn't do any booking. But she told me, because she's a professional makeup artist. You've heard of her. Her name is Angela. Angela to the stars. You've heard of her. That's my cousin.
Okay.
She's a big girl. She's pretty. She goes up to Philly. She does everybody. You know what she said? The trans pay less money to get made up than women do. And it's easier to do them than women. Trans pay less to get their hair done than women. Women lose out to these damn substitutes. Not only that, there's been a fight for forever for women to have more places that they could piss in public. And now that they have more bathrooms, they have to share it with dudes anyway. What a fucking betrayal. For all the times women didn't have any place to piss, now you still have to compete with men. And now with this pre-op shit, because, I may do that just to be stupid, go in a woman's restroom and say, I'm a man. Shit, I don't want to walk down the hall. I'm a woman. Go in and piss in the woman's restroom and shit. That's crazy. I don't think I told you my auntie Kim Weston came to visit me when I was in rehab. And this nurse was mad at me. She may have been a stud. Probably wanted my mother. And she'd do everything she could to keep women to stop coming to see me. And I think, why can't I have some fucking visitors in here? So when I found out this bitch was cock blocking me, I called her supervisor and said, you better thank God I'm a Christian. Because if I wasn't, I would say I was a woman, I'd go down and beat that bitch's ass until I got back to my room and be a man again. You tell that bitch stop fucking with me while I want to be a dude. Because I could get away with it here in D.C. I had all the guests I wanted after that.
but
Yes, I
definitely
want
have
to do
some
one
questions to
thing. We
ask
could
you.
do one
Yes.
thing and then we go right to questions. Real fast. Tethergeddon, October 1st. The State Department, they're going to start charging people an additional $250 to come to the United States. All the illegals and everybody's visas, multiple entry visas, 4 and 5 years, that shit's going to be gone. A whole lot of black Americans that have been disrespected by illegals, in particular the ones that are from the black diaspora, the scam Africanists. Please don't marry anybody or get any new friends starting September because these people are trying to find some way to stay up in
To
this country that
stay.
they hate so much and they don't like us. Tethergeddon is coming where a whole lot of people who talk about how lazy and dirty we are and how we don't do anything and how we not this and how we fake and how we're not really African and how you don't have no country. Tethergeddon's about to set things straight. And so I thank Donald Trump. There's a lot of shit I don't like, the Justice Department and shit, but I do like Tethergeddon. There's going to only be one black people in America, and that's going to be Friedman. And all the other people are going to have to get their asses behind us. Fuck you very much, Joe Biden, and all you little coon Democrats, and all you little people that need to be in alliance with everybody, including Lucifer and shit at the freak off. Tethergeddon is coming. And one more thing. If you are a citizen, the kind that hate us and talk shit about us, if you've cheated on your taxes, if you're working under the table, and all of y'all do it, if y'all haven't paid taxes, they can take your citizenship. So all the motherfuckers that think you're legal, no, you're not. If you've broken one law, and the law has been on the books 8 years, United States Citizenship Investigative Services, IRS, they're going to visit your ass. So, and I'll just do one piece of my song. What's that song I was going to do, which is You're Going Away. You're going away. You're going away. I won't do that. We'll do that in another one. We're going to pick up Tethergeddon. Let's take questions, but October 1st, and it would be the month of my relative Nat Turner, is Liberation Month for black people. If you haven't been down for us, if you're not ride or die for freedom in this country that made everything possible for you, get the fuck out. Questions?
So anybody that has questions for Dr. Short, please jump right in.
Anybody that has questions, just unmute. Go ahead.
Hey, Dr. Short, thank you for allowing me to be in this meeting. It was very refreshing. Hello, Miss Jaguar, right? Thank you for what you are doing, what you have done. It's very insightful. I was taking some notes. I'm just going to make a quick comment because I know other people want to talk.
And it's a question too, so questions, because we only have like less than 30 minutes.
Okay,
Questions.
so I'll get back to you about that. But my question is, I was thinking about the music industry, and I just want your opinion about something. I don't necessarily, I'm not a beehive. I'm not trying to take anything away from Beyonce, but I think she's put up on a pedestal way more than what she should. And Jaguar, have you ever looked into the amount of Grammy Awards Michael Jackson won and Prince won? And when you look at there, it's unbelievable that she surpassed them in Grammy Awards, and there's no way in the world she's better than them. I just want to know if you can comment and ask that question. Thank
Well,
you.
because the National Recording Academy of Arts and Sciences has sold its soul. The Carters sit on the board, and they bully and they say, you're going to get this and you're going to get that. He wanted to make her the artist that had the most Grammy Awards because it was good for their personal profile and persona for all of the other business dealings and stuff that they've gone into. So it's no longer about talent anymore. It's just about, she has 32 Grammys now.
She's got more than
Um,
Stevie Wonder. Shit.
she's got more than everybody, and it's
She got more
crazy
than Henry
because
Mancini?
she has more than everybody. She is the most Grammy awarded person of all times. And the only thing that proves is that award has no value. as long as you're in power, as long as you have the money to manipulate the board, you can do this. And this is what they've been doing. They've been lording over these people for years. And it's sad because all of those Grammy Awards, and you still got to stay on tour night after night after night, getting denied loans, and you have to refinance all of your houses. You would think with 32 Grammy Awards and them supposed to be being billionaires, they wouldn't need to refinance their homes.
And lastly, it was a travesty for her to win Country Album of the Year. It was a slap in the face to all those country singers.
Yes,
Thank
it was.
you.
Yes, it was. I agree with you completely.
Next.
That's part of the reason why I stopped getting involved in Maris altogether.
Mm.
Next question.
Mm.
Professor Allen?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, Professor
how you
Allen.
doing?
Oh my God.
Hey,
I can't
what's going on,
believe
Colin?
it. Oh my God. Can you like drop me a number so I could talk to a real professor?
Yes, sir. I'll DM you on
Yeah,
Twitter.
yeah,
Check
yeah.
your Twitter.
Treat me like I'm white
Uh,
so we can team up.
yeah, me and Dr. Short are going to be in a documentary in a minute. So y'all
Oh,
check
that's
it out.
fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be real quick. First off, Jaguar, I've been following you for years, watching your YouTube videos. I'm a scholar, a historian. I study ancient world history. And my question is, well, I've seen some rare books, some of which I shouldn't have seen, and they talk about a Luciferian agenda. And I see a commonality. And my question is, number one, is all this secret society stuff in the music industry related to that? Is that biblical?
Absolutely.
Pre-biblical. And secondly, I've seen a lot of interviews of musicians and artists saying just straight up that they sold their soul to the devil. What do they mean by that? Are they being literal?
Yeah, of course they're being literal. It's funny that people think that they're speaking figuratively. You know, and that's the thing that bothers me more than anything. It's the disconnect that the public seems to have when you hear someone say these things flat out and you think that they're speaking figuratively, but then you look at the circumstances and everything that's based around it, and it lines up with this very demonic agenda. We have to stop pretending, you know, like we're not hearing it. Like these people, you hear people saying it, oh, I sold my soul, and I sold my soul, and, you know, even Chloe Bailey, look at her career, look at her sister's career. They were both, you know, discovered on YouTube, signed to Beyonce, and then all of a sudden, the second that Chloe no longer wants to, you know, do all of the other stuff that they wanted her to do, that her sister has been now all of a sudden, and she was literally, she just did a post not long ago, I think she was on her Instagram talking about how the movie Sinners made her cry because it was depicting exactly what her experience was and what she knows the industry is all about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So are these people meeting up with demons and stuff? And I'm not even being funny. I've been to Africa and seen some things. So,
well, I mean, yeah, let's just be honest. This is everywhere.
Hey,
It's
Jack.
everywhere. They're, you know. Go ahead.
And Jack, I want to say this. My running buddy for 10 years is a man named Raymond West, whose son is Kanye West. For several years, he and I would argue about Kanye's future. And he would have nightmares of Kanye giving himself over to evil.
Wow.
I'm talking about, this is something, when did I first hear it? I heard this first time about 2000. Just 25 years ago, Father had nightmares, and I haven't said that out loud to anyone, ever. His father's a wonderful person. And basically, I owe the father apology because I begged for him to let Kanye do music. Okay? And in a sense, I tried not to be an asshole exer to a boomer. That's trying to be, younger people have to be able to express themselves, but I would say to you, there's something very, very wrong and off and otherworldly about Donda West. There's something wrong with her, and I said it. And this runs in families. People have these curses, generational curses, and you may have a great talent. The scriptures, the Bible says, gifts are given without repentance. In other words, God may give a very wicked person a great ability. It doesn't mean that they're good. It means that they have a great talent.
Real deep. Appreciate it, man.
Next.
What I've noted. Oh,
Oh,
go
you
ahead.
got
Go
one more.
ahead.
Go ahead, Professor. I thought you were done.
What
No,
were you
I
going
would.
to say, Professor?
I was just gonna say, from my analysis, what we have to watch is things being backward. Y'all mentioned strange sex, where they're kissing certain parts. They shouldn't. Just, I would tell the room, look for anything that's backwards, and you're looking at a Luciferian agenda. Backwards.
That part. That
Yep.
part. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for coming today. Who's next?
I'm on there as JK, but I'm Latoya.
Hey. Hey, how are you? Welcome.
White Jesus to you, Latoya. White
Hey,
Jesus
Ray,
loves you.
how you doing?
White Jesus loves me. You want to see him?
Yes, you got the doll.
No, I have another one. I want more white Jesuses. You know, they messed up my Cash App. I want to get a black Jesus, but you know what? It costs 6 times more to get a black one than a white one. So I'm stuck with the white ones for now, but that's okay. I'll save up for my back of the bus black Jesus.
Why does that look like Cartman on a diet?
Because Cartman needs a diet. You know, he'll be a cult leader. And of course, get a whole bunch of stupid black people that think white folks know more about God than we do.
Well, you guys have dropped so much information. I know when I'm talking to Randy, it's just like I just sit back. I'm like just like a sponge, just listening to all the information. But the only question I have
My friend.
is there going to be a continual free fall of the boule? And do you guys see more of it happening or intensifying within the next 2 years or even less than that?
It's already started with Obama. And
Yeah.
when black people stopped voting in 2012, there's been an awakening among black people, and the awakening has continued. And in fact, COVID killed off a lot of weak black people who didn't want to get it. And so a lot of folks who've had, like, a lot of people get destroyed and watched, a lot of people on edge. So actually, the Diddy trial was an indictment of the Boule. The loss of Kamswala, the failure, the Greeks came all out and they couldn't deliver black people for Kamswala, you know. And so, and they're not going to get us for the midterms in 26, even with the Justice Department rollback and the dumb stuff that the super vicious Nazi white supremacist folks who've infested MAGA, not all of MAGA is racist, but some of it is.
Right.
They still haven't made black people react. And by the way, part of what's been holding up the Boule are the illegals. The illegals, fresh troops have been coming from Tethers. So they're going to be gone. Mamdani being attacked in New York is a loss for the Boule. Karen Bass's Edward G. Robinson looking ass being hated in Los Angeles is a defeat for the Boule. Johnson in Chicago, who's deeply hated by black Chicagoans, is a loss for the Boule. The Negroes trying to push Cop City in Atlanta is a loss for the Boule, as well as Atlanta no longer being predominantly black. People turning on the mayor of D.C., people being exposed to the fraud of West Moore, the little macho-looking queenish governor of Maryland.
Yep.
Eric Adams having to go independent. Politically and socially, the fact that T.D. Jakes' ass has had to step down. There's a lot of shit. The fact that they're trying to put Jamal Bryant up and they're doing protests and shit, trying to get niggas to go out and march. First and foremost, I like my shoes too much to march. All right? I like my shoes to last. I'm a broke ass nigga. I like to buy one pair of shoes every year. Black folks are no longer going for this. There's a reaction to abortion. There's even been, and let's be honest, when Donald Trump bust down the militant extremist sexuality agenda of the Biden administration, which was partnered with the Greek letter societies and the black globalists. The boule has never been weaker than what it is right now, and it
Right
will
now.
continue. And I want to say something to you. This big, beautiful bill that's going to fuck with the social safety net of a lot of people. Black folks are going to be forced to have to deal with what's real. We've been in, I have a Dreamland theme park for 60 some odd years. Well, admissions is closed, and every park has to shut down for maintenance. And this park in America is about to close. So when people don't have SNAP, when people don't have Section 8, when they, all these people that call themselves leaders and pastors, when they can't deliver, the black masses will be enraged like never before. We've seen this happen in the Great Depression, where you got a lot of the movements that we benefited from came as a result of the boule losing face to the black masses that were completely dispossessed by the Great Depression. So the boule is not going to be able to survive this. And on top of that, the really nasty, crusty tethers that have been attacking black people, and folks are rebelling, they're going independent, says that the boule will cease to be important. And there's one other element, which is religious, and that is the people who are quitting the Greek letter organizations, people denouncing it, saying, I was a Satanist. I betrayed black people and God. I'm ashamed. When you see this woman, Lala Brooks, these people out here coming out saying, I did it. I was black. I stabbed my people in the back. I stabbed. When you start hearing accountability, which is different from what the boule does, which is blame whitey while they pick your pocket the same way the rich whites pick white people's pocket and say blame niggas, we're seeing a shift. On top of that, this pivotal year is the 60th anniversary of Watts. I'm 60. The torch is passed. We Xers are now going to be what the boomers were, because these other motherfuckers are dying. And some of us get it. We had computers. We were here with rap. There isn't the same divide between us and the younger generations that you have with the silent generation and the boomers. Not that all X's are cool, because a lot of them are fucked up. But we had crack before y'all did. Right? So we're more unified because we have more stuff in common.
Right.
Some of us who are angry because I don't own a home, I don't have kids, all of us who've been fucked financially, economically, politically, and socially by the boomers' traitor leadership, are now at the age where I say what the fuck I want as an old nigga with cancer. Fuck them. Okay, and I'm old. Notice when old people, like shit, I've nearly died, I may have an ulcer right now, I gotta check with the doctor. I could be bleeding internally. Literally. What the fuck do I care about death? And what the fuck do I care about these boule niggas like Roland Martin's little great pumpkin looking ass? Fuck all of them.
Yeah.
So we don't care. And so that's what's happening. There's a convergence now of people who are not going to like the state of affairs. We see people homeless in the streets. We hear about kids getting raped. We see all this stuff. We watch them fight for a crime bill for the goddamn Asian Pacific trim because they bitches and they white supremacists. There's a lot of anger out here, and it's starting this year. Remember, right after Watts, when niggas blew up in August 1965, and we're in almost in August.
Yep.
From 65 all the way to 75, niggas were off the chain for 10 years. We're going into a 10-year period of niggas not giving a damn. Next. Say hi to Zaria. Hi, Zaria. White Jesus loves you, baby.
I'll let her know.
Hello, Miss Jaguar, our first Dr. Short. Thank you again for the laughs, for the knowledge and your wisdom. Dr. Short, you are much appreciated. And Jaguar, I've been following you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. And I just Probably since the very beginning on YouTube as like a silent supporter of music. I personally have never been in the quote unquote music industry, but I grew up in the system here in Ohio. So I saw and experienced how easy it is to disappear a kid from their parent and to just alienate and to just separate. It is so easy. And my mom and her own struggles, uh, that's a whole nother story. But like how they protect these monsters and they honestly um, encourage it in a way. I feel like a lot of people don't know. Yeah, right. Like I feel like a lot of times they create these monsters and they set them out on purpose. And you were just saying so much that like hits to home that I could, add to my own personal story. So everything that you shared, while it may have sounded quote unquote crazy, that's what I was called. I was called crazy, or that child got the spirit,
No,
or
no, you're not
you know.
crazy. You're not crazy. I got to put some business out here. Jag, are you there?
I'm here.
This is a sister I want you to meet. She's the daughter of the woman that survived the Cleveland Strangler.
Oh.
The woman that jumped out the window with no clothes
Yeah.
on.
We were talking about that.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's her. Shoot, between her and Trey, I got two crazy people. An author who has that book 14 Codes. We have to hear the voices of the people that have gone through the child and family services. That is another form
Yeah,
of
we do.
slavery. People need to remember that most slaves in America in 1865 were children. It was
Yeah.
a big human trafficking operation where they raped and sold kids. They sold them by the
They
dozens.
don't like telling the truth about it,
I,
but
I,
that's
I'm
what
going to
they
tell
do
it.
with these
I'm going to tell it. I
systems.
don't care who don't like it. I don't need any friends. I'm used to being by myself. And as long as my cat keeps going out in the alley, killing the rats that were attacking our peaches that fell on the ground, as me and Selfish are fine. Me, Mom, and Selfish. She's old for a cat. Mom's old. I'm old. We're all sick. I don't need no friends. If you don't like the truth, you may as well be my enemy. So just understand
That
it. But
part.
Jag, this woman, she got stories. I mean, getting mistreated, having Tether's dog her out, sell her out to white people. I'll put you in touch because it's a whole
Please
group.
do.
And Jag, we got to have this coalition of outraged black women. That's why I talked to you. I've been looking for C. Dolores Tucker, my saint. Some black women that are going to tear this shit up. And some black women that tell black men, no social action, no pussy. Then again, these days that may not move them. But maybe if men are looking, they'll act like they move.
So Savannah, was there anything else that you wanted to share with us, or you wanted to ask? And just so you know, these stories, they mean a lot to me because I know how much the public needs to hear them. Like we have a public that is in a complete coma, and totally just ignoring the reality of what's happening in this world. So if you want to share your story with us, if you would want to sit with us on the platform and talk, we would love to have you.
Thank you. Honestly, my question or just my comment would be just talk more about how just intertwined and how close the police, the state, doctors, lawyers, all of it work together,
Well, that's
and
why we've been doing, I don't know if you've seen it, the Demore Hadley story for the Defending Your Freedom series.
yes,
That's where we're starting, but we need to show people it's not just, well, these CEOs' daughters that this happens to. If it can, that's part of the reason why I wanted to do that story, because if it can happen to someone who is attached to something that high profile, imagine how many other people it's happening to, that it's flying under the radar because they're not known. And yeah.
that was it. So just wanted to give you words of encouragement and to say that I believed you from the very start. So thank you.
Thank you. please feel free to reach out, leave an email, whatever the case may be, if you'd like to get deeper into that conversation, because I'm so sick and tired of knowing that people like you out there exist and everyone wants to pretend like you don't. You know, being able to survive state sanctioned tyranny and abuse is something else. It really is. It's definitely something else. Yeah. Who do you go to? Who do you go to when you're getting screwed over by the people that are supposed to be there to make sure you don't? Thank you, Steve.
Hey Jaguar, this is Patty Cakes. A lot of people that if you're on Twitter, you know me as Patty Cakes. I'm a friend of Dr. Short. I wanted to ask you. There's been an uptick in the snatching of black children, especially here in the city of Washington D.C. I mean, considerably. It's going on like 2 and 3 a day, and I wanted to know if that somehow connects to the system that you've been talking about, or Hollywood, or whatever is going on, that system. Why are they snatching these black children?
I believe so. I believe they're all intertwined. And that was part of the reason why I started speaking out the way that I spoke out, because I knew that there were going to be certain links that were going to lead to other things. Entertainment has been used to do so many terrible things in our communities, in our societies, and because of the nature of it, it lures the children in. It brings the children in, but the question is these children that are disappearing, like, where are they disappearing from? Were they, like, what are the details behind the disappearances?
They're just, some of them are, so what's crazy is the girls are being snatched off. Like, there's been some sightings of a van snatching the girls. The boys, more or less, are
just in broad daylight.
Just they were seen at school and then gone, or I don't know if they was probably headed to hang out with somebody, but there's not like a eyewitness account as for the boys or for the girls.
Which is crazy.
It is.
Because with all of the cameras that they have, with the way they're able to use social media to triangulate and look at locations, like literally the government has the ability to be able to go and snatch and look at that time. There is surveillance everywhere. They should be able to find something, a VIN number, a tag number, even if it's just a false paper tag or something. So I honestly believe it's being overlooked. It's just being overlooked.
The city of DC does it. The way DC is shaped, Southeast DC, which is where I live, is black.
Mm-hmm. I know Southeast.
Okay, and so there's not prominent cameras like there are everywhere else in DC.
That might not be an accident.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's probably not an accident. Because DC, there should be cameras everywhere.
Correct.
There should be cameras everywhere, but these children keep going missing from this area where there is a lack of camera coverage. Yeah. And what are the families? What are the families? Are the families advocating in any way? Are they trying to get justice? What are they doing?
Yeah, so a lot of them advocate on, like the neighborhood apps.
I've heard of them.
Personally,
I don't trust those. And the reason why I don't trust them is because they're government sanctioned, and if any of this stuff is being purposefully overlooked so it doesn't throw off anyone's election or something like that, they could be throwing a lot of stuff under the bus. Like, I don't think anybody's even really talking about the fact that we had, the Amber Alert, and now they're starting the Ebony Alert, and they're doing all of this. Like, the question is because I believe the Ebony Alert, it's been around for what, almost a year now?
Yeah.
And that's for missing black children. So I just find
Which
it funny that here comes the Ebony Alert, and now all of these black children you're saying are going missing, and none of that's popping up on this radar at all.
well, it's
Wow.
crazy because the radar goes off. It'll go off. You'll be sitting on your phone and you'll think, but there's it's crazy because you're also getting them for weather, and you're also getting them for other children. You're also getting um, you know, all of it is convoluted. But I do appreciate you addressing my question, and I wanted to say hi to Dr. Shore while he's here.
He's still here.
He stepped away from the phone, but thanks a lot for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Oh no, actually I need to look more into what's going on down there. And so thank you for coming through and even alerting us, because I didn't know that there was an issue with a lot of missing children happening. I've been paying attention to a lot about what's been going on in Texas. I don't know if you know, but there were children that were recovered. People that we associate with From America's Future. I think it was like almost 200 kids that were found, and now there's a grouping of kids that are gone. Yeah, isn't that funny? It happened in May, right before Diddy's trial. Nobody was talking about it.
Wow. Hey, Randy.
Hey.
You see who talking to you?
Yes, white woman to you. I have on my black. I got on my mail. I got on my mail Shahrazad Ali hat.
Oh no.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay,
Jack.
and you know what, Jack? This was the sister that was teaching at DC jail that wouldn't screw the
Okay.
stud that Obama put over. Had a white stud female that hated black people. I guess she wouldn't go on a date with her or screw the coworker, who I think is a tether. And so she's lost her job. We need to expose this kind of shit. This is
Yeah,
one
we
of the
do.
reasons I don't want to be famous. I want to be impactful. If I had, this is why I get mad at some of these niggas with these big platforms. They could really do something other than blow up their cash apps. We could
Well,
actually
see,
help.
that's the thing. We have all of these black people with all of these huge platforms, but they all seem to only be interested in talking about the same thing. Like
Yes.
right now, all of these black, you know, content creators, it's all, everybody's running down on Umar Johnson. Everybody's running down on Umar Johnson.
Well, did Odell tell you the little short story I was going to write about him?
No, what was the story?
The title, The Empress New Hoes.
Ah,
See, he's running out of hoes to use. See, it comes back to you. There's a whole industry of so-called activist black men and preachers that play off of the trauma and the best hopes of our sisters. It's disgusting. Okay, I have sister friends that help me, but I'm not out trying to drop the pipe or screw people's daughters or wives or mamas. I don't do that. There's a sister that's going to see this. They sent me this very nice gift, but I just talk to them. I don't constantly call them and say, "Give me money. I need money. I need white people." I'm tired. I mean, look, since he likes Africa so much, he should go the fuck back there. And there are lots of beggars in the street in Africa. He'll be in good company, right? It's time. You've been collecting people's money in the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, for years, and we don't see much. And he's not alone. Why isn't there a movement? You know, it's not hard to do these things. It doesn't take a lot of money. A lot of people like us to be fucked up just like we are. Same way there are people that know that you got all this talent, Jared, and they don't mind talking to you, but they're never going to do anything to see you be bigger than them.
oh God
Okay,
no.
there are
God
people
no.
that know me. They'll copy or do, but they won't do that. And I'm not asking them. So people ask me certain questions. What you ask them why they didn't do it. I didn't ask them. If you see me on someone's platform, they asked me. to do it. I didn't beg to be in anyone's film, anyone's documentary. If you want me, I'm coming. If you don't want me, I don't come.
Okay,
Two
who's next? Because I
hands.
think we have just a couple more minutes left. We have a few more questions. Who's
Yes.
next?
Asha.
Good afternoon, Natasha. How are you?
Hi.
Nice to
Well, how are
meet
you,
you.
Aja?
Yes,
Nice to
good.
meet you as well.
I just wanted to say that I followed you for a very long time, and I really thank you for speaking up about the industry. Um, I'm a veteran, and I served 14 years, so I am a
Thank you for your
military.
service.
Thank you. And I was sexually assaulted in the military.
Jesus.
And so when you talk about, and I before that, before I joined the military, I tried to break into the modeling industry, which is just the same. I did the New York thing, and guess what? I came across Jay-Z, Puff Daddy, and Russell Simmons, but the Spirit of God told me to stay away from them. So I decided to come back home, finish up school. 9/11 happened, and I joined the military right afterwards. Deployed, but one of the hard things was I got sexually assaulted, and I was told to shut up and color. They did move the person out of my unit, but it bottled up for so many years where Dr. Short and Latoya and others really prayed because I was fighting for my VA benefits for a whole entire year, and they finally gave it to me this last year. Even though I was
Praise
diagnosed with PTSD and severe depression, but there's a lot of women out there that actually get raped. I don't know. I also ran for Congress 3 times, but I've seen the same issues in the political industry.
Yep.
They told me if I do this or say this, or I've seen people creeping in other people's rooms, I'm like, your wife is back home or your husband is back home. So the industries are pretty much aligned in the same, military as well, in politics,
Absolutely.
and modeling.
It's the same machine.
It's
It's the same protocol.
Yes, because if you don't do what they say, you will never move up, and that's why I said I never won congressional seat because I refused to do what they said.
And it's the same thing at it's the same thing at the university. If you don't screw certain people, you don't get this or that. Same
Correct.
thing in church. I was telling Jag, I could be making 6 figures doing what Jamal Bryant does. All I have to do is start doing gay marriages and support abortion. And I told the man I wouldn't support gay marriage as a pastor if I had a redwood tree growing up my ass. And I most
Yes.
certainly don't have a redwood tree growing up my ass. So I can't do that. And I was told I was hard headed. And I'm thinking, what does marrying 2 men have to do with serving God? And they told me if I
Right.
didn't know, I wasn't going to find out. So, a lot of us financially, I guess you've lost $250 million. We're small potatoes compared to you, but I would probably say for not selling out, it's probably cost me $3 or $4 million.
I would have
Probably cost you more than that.
I would have been retired off the military with a higher rank, but I just got tired of it. And then I ran for politics. If I had did what they told me to do, I would be a congressional member right now. But I
Yeah, but
refused to.
The second that they realized that you weren't going to play ball, they
Correct.
sit you down. They shut you down. That's what
Yes.
they do. It was the same thing with me in the industry. I was on track to be one of the biggest and one of the most brightest and one of the most high. Everything turned all the way up except
Yeah.
one thing. I
One
wasn't
thing.
going to be quiet about what I saw happening, and I wasn't going to continue to keep helping them make money to keep harming people.
Yes.
Jag, it's not
Yes.
over for you, Jag. When Cam
Oh, I
Husty,
know.
the guy who I had talked to Odell, who's the copyright and intellectual lawyer, when he asked me to explain to him who Jaguar Wright is, I said Jaguar Wright to my generation is what Aretha Franklin was when she was on Columbia. She simply hasn't gotten to Atlantic. You'll know who she, the minute she breaks, everybody knows. She just Aretha had been out there. Think about it. She was recording since 1956. When she left Columbia in 66, when they paid the equivalent of literally $750,000 to buy her out from Atlantic, she had been recording for 10 years and people knew damn well who Aretha was. And Aretha
Yeah.
played the game and still didn't get it. But once
Nope.
she got to a place where
With
she
Clive.
she blew up. You don't need Clive, and that's why you'll be bigger than. Now, here's what I want to say to people because there are two more people. I'm going to have to eventually leave because I want to see the woman that talks about the devil's sperm. And,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
but I don't want you guys to leave, so I can leave this on for the Zoom.
Yeah.
For the
No,
people
no. You
that
good.
are eavesdropping on the platforms, all of you guys, this is a free teaser. I'm not gonna do this shit again. Y'all gotta pay for this. Jag is worth it. This is like a concert. So I want y'all to know Jag and I are gonna do these things, but it's not gonna be up on my channels. This is the one time you get this treat, and from here on out, we'll have it advertised better. You're gonna have to go to the Zoom and do that, but I want y'all to know it's on. And so, but you guys can keep going on Zoom. I won't shut my Zoom thing off. I'll leave it on. But then again, you guys don't need me
You can
because
shut
it's
it
your
off.
Zoom. No. I can't shut it off. You guys can continue. Nicole and Lady Angel. I mean, if y'all just want to speak to Jag, I can go ahead and get my Uber because I want to hear about the devil's sperm. I wonder if it's red. Okay.
But thank you so much. I have to log off too, and I really appreciate this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Who else do we have that had a question before it's time to shut down? I
Hey,
mean, I
it's
think
me,
we're gonna have
Nicole.
to part two. Hey, Nicole.
Hello. Hey, it's Black Rose, Randy, before you run off.
Okay.
Hey, Randy.
White woman to you. White Jesus loves you.
Jesus